Sakura, Sky, and Loki.
This week, although the Smash Bros. Series amiibos are not yet complete, Mario is getting friendlier with a classic design releasing imminently. The collectibles keep coming along with This Week in Gaming News, and it all begins along with your comments and more right now on the show, where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio, live with our 592nd episode for March the 29th of 2015. Here with you over the next few hours to talk about video games, gaming culture, and the gamer lifestyle. Here with me, Rob Roberts, and over there taunting me already. Wob Wobbits. A serious interview with Wob Wobbits and Doc Sakura. How are you, Miss Jamie Summers or Dark Sakura?
I have a sinus infection.
Do you? I'm sorry to hear that.
You know what? I blame Alabama.
As long as you're not contagious.
You can't get sinus infections unless, like, you dig your finger up my nose and pull some bacteria and eat it. And even then, highly unlikely.
Don't test me.
Ew! Ooh, I'm going home. Bye.
I'll do a lot on a dare. No, I'm kidding. I thought it was funny because earlier this week you gave me a call and you were like, Wob Wobbits. I don't know why you're Barbara Walters all of a sudden. Wob Wobbits. What was the condition that Alwyn had when he got sick?
I started to feel like scratchy and sore on like Tuesday. Yeah. But usually that's how my sinus infections hit. Every time I come back from Alabama, sinus infection.
There it is.
And I didn't even think about it. I thought, oh, Alan was sick maybe, but that was like a week and a half.
Something about traveling to Alabama just makes you sick. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The humidity. That's it.
Magnolias, camellias, azaleas.
All right. Also here in studio, of course, as he is every week, say hello to Techmaster Loki.
Hi.
How are you, Loki?
I'm fine.
Now, Loki said earlier, I just want to quote for you guys, that he may have had too much bacon.
No, I said there may have been too much bacon on the pizza. It's because it was too salty. I didn't have it. See, the problem was...
How appropriate for you
here's
that it's
my dilemma.
It's a little too salty here on OLR.
Here is my dilemma, okay? The gas station I went to is one of those grocery store gas stations. Mm-hmm. They only had a fucking 16-ounce Red Bull. That is not enough Red Bull for me to, first off, be awake right now, and second, to have with that pizza. So, I have to make sure my sodium intake is good.
Be careful with those energy drinks.
Be careful with those energy drinks.
Oh, come on. I only have one a day. I mean,
yeah, so did my husband, and he ended up in the hospital for
most days I have one a day.
His heart. So be careful.
Be careful.
It's just a little bit of caffeine.
All right.
Along with salt.
Make sure you get in your exercise, work out with the kids. All right. Of course, we are here in studio, but you guys are out there in the internets. Hello, everybody who is listening live to us at the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com, where we do tape our show live every Sunday night at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, right after the Bobby Blackwolf show. And Bobby Blackwolf is actually live in our chat room there, along with some of the other folks, starting us off tonight, Bobby says, I'm hunting Wob Wobbits. So a little bit of Elmer Fudd there action. How wonderful. Anyhow, of course, if you are listening on the podcast, a big hello to you as well. If for whatever reason it's your very first time listening to Orange Lounge Radio, we've been doing this for a while. We started this show back in June of 2002. Myself, Dark Sakura, and Loki all met playing Dance Dance Revolution at a local arcade here, Sunsplash, and we wanted to make a show about the little community that we were building because it was like Wednesday night worship, and I'm not talking about like false idols or anything like that, but it's just what it was. Wednesday nights, we all got together, we would go to play DDR, and we just stand around the machine like it was some cult with the little flashing lights. Play me, give me $1, and I'll play cute Eurobeat. So that was us, and after we played DDR, we'd go to the diner right across the street, and then we'd talk a little bit of smack.
It was the old people diner on top of that,
That's
which was
right.
great.
It was. And we talk a little smack and good things and bad things about our favorite pastime. And so we've extended that into the internet and with you guys at the world's largest diner table here. Anyway, we have some very special guests here in studio, and I'm so excited to welcome these guys to the show. Speaking of marriage, as I see talking about in our chat room, Love Twuwov, says Game Guru in our chat. We met up a few weeks ago, and it was literally one of those moments of, where have you been all my life? And now here we are joining forces for you gamers out there. I'm so excited to welcome from the Sacramento IGDA chapter tonight. We have two representatives here in studio. Say hello, everybody, to Gabriel and just go ahead and pick up the mic there and say hello. And Briana.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
I'm great, and I'm so happy to be here. And oh boy, I can't believe you had me in here.
Wait, what does that mean? Wait a minute. Does that mean she's a loose cannon? I don't know.
I can't
also
confirm or deny that. Sorry. But
how you doing, Gabriel?
never better. We're here. This is like I'm 5 minutes from home, and it's like I'm in a whole other world right now. It's beautiful.
You were mentioning that beforehand, that when I gave you the address to our top secret location where we tape in the Sacramento area, you found out that's 5 minutes from my house.
Yes.
I've been doing that crap for
Seriously,
years.
I've been at 3 years, and only now, and like, yeah. Seriously, way too long to have connected. But.
Well, you know what? It goes both ways, because now I'm realizing, holy crap, somebody's developing a Wii U game 5 minutes from my house.
Damn straight.
Who knew? Tell us a little bit about your company, Gabriel. You actually have like a little startup indie company, and you're making games as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the idea behind Nascent Games was, I needed a definition for the studio. You know, like what were the games that we're making gonna do? What were we trying to achieve with our games? And the idea was, we wanted to, I hate to say the phrase take it to the next level, because it's so cliche, it's so overused, and I try not to do that. So I tried to approach it a little differently. Just, for me, it was leave a good experience for every player that tries our stuff, whether it's player by definition of actually physically playing the game, or by actually watching the game and saying, ooh, I want to see what happens next. So, so for me, it was all about, that ascent of the experience, ascending and wanting to find out more, take it higher. So just without getting all cliche about it all.
No, so you know what? Sometimes the answer is a little simpler than some might think. You know what I mean? Like, some people want to know, where did the name Orange Lounge Radio come from? Because Orange Lounge was on a DDR machine, and we thought, like, we're lounging around talking about games. It's a great name. Yeah. So it's really that simple, people. Yep. That's all right. So also in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, we have Blakeman, who actually renamed his nickname there. Blakeman in our chat room says, excuse my ignorance, but what does IGDA mean? That is the International Game Developers Association, right? I should have said that, right?
That's quite okay. Yeah, International Game Developers Association, and what that is, they're a worldwide nonprofit organization. They represent, all the countries possible. Especially here, and it's a connection of game developers and gamers who just want to get involved more in the community, in the industry, and without the what's the best way to put this? I think it's just really it's just a huge resource. The IGDA is just a massive resource for people to learn more about how they can become, how they can put their talents to use, or learn to put talents to use, or even just learn a talent. Just from the idea guy, which is me, to the programmer who can't draw. They want to find somebody who does art. Or the community outreach folks who want to bring folks together to do more, and really for the love of it all. I kind of hashtagged for the love of the game quite a bit, and there's kind of a core reason behind that. We maybe get to that later, but yeah, it's really for that. It's for the love of the game, and then hopefully we make a few bucks out of it. But otherwise, yeah, we love what we do.
Yeah,
so.
I think a lot of people out there. I would think not so much the listeners to this show, but you go on Twitter, you go on any message forum, and you see sometimes a lot. And there's a running joke here on OLR about gamershateeverything.com, right? Where where anything is announced and there's always like instant snark that goes with that, right?
Yeah.
And we try to be.
Are you talking about someone in particular?
There is no salty individual I can think of. But, all joking aside, I mean, we have fun with it, and there are some games sometimes that, for whatever reason, don't turn out as well as they could be, and usually that reason is middle management, but we won't go there. But I think some people don't really realize what goes into making a game. There's so much that goes into making a game, even a tiny little indie game. There's a lot that goes with it, right? So when you talk about resource sharing, I mean, we've even had, Loki, and he's been talking about some of the various projects he's been working on for a long time here on the show. Maybe he needs to sign up for your organization. I don't know.
He really should, because I'm looking at what he's doing right now, and and I didn't realize you were.
You're seeing something like nobody else is getting to see. By the way, that whole his mysterious Vogue Jam game that ended in January.
Yeah.
Make it happen, man. We're right here. So.
Just wasn't on time, unfortunately.
Bobby is taking so much pleasure right now in the fact that Loki is being lectured by the IGDA here in studio.
Listen, if it's okay, if
welcome,
Zelda can be
Bobby.
delayed, then I can delay my game. It's perfectly fine. I mean, I don't want to
What's this?
compare
The
it
Agony
to
and the Ecstasy featuring Loki.
I'm not going to be the one that's going to make those comparisons,
When
but I
will
mean,
it
if you
be
want to draw
finished?
those, that's fine.
When it's finished.
Okay, look, but all this joking about deadlines aside, you have talked about how finding music for your game was like your big issue, and it took you a while to find that right resource, right?
Yes, just listening to everything that's CC, by 3.0 or whatever on SoundCloud, and browsing by genres.
You know what? You and I could have just connected much sooner, because I actually make my own music for my games. So yeah, double whammy, man. So.
Womp womp.
That's right. But the music he did end up finding is actually really awesome. So,
good.
Hey,
And if
it
by
worked out.
awesome you mean really annoying, because it was on purpose that I picked a really annoying dubstep song, for the game.
All right. Anyway,
He said
this isn't
dubstep.
about you, Loki. This is about our guests here in studio this week. And I do want to talk to Briana in a minute as well. But since, Gabriel, you have the mic right now, I want to talk about specifically the game that you're working on here. Because, and I know there's a lot of people, it's no secret right now. We've talked about on previous episodes of the show. We're going to be doing this event where we're live streaming on April 11th, and y'all can check it out. It's the Sacramento Indie Arcade event, which is presented by you guys, and April 11th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can tune in at vognetwork.com, or if you're like that 3% of our listener base that lives in Sacramento, or even the Bay Area, heck, come on out to the show, check it out. We'll be there live in person. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that might, because we have listeners in Mexico, we have listeners in Australia, Japan,
Sweden.
Hola.
Sweden.
Whatever happened to
Belgium.
Lucky
Mate.
Ripper?
He's still. I see him on Tumblr. But
Yeah.
anyway, they might be wondering, why do I care about some event happening in Sacramento? But
Yeah.
you guys are making games that everybody's going to play, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the goal.
Well, it's more. It goes. See, that's on the surface, yes, but it goes beyond that. For me, there's a parallel going on with my startup as Nascent Games, and founding that, and then being the founder and chair for the chapter for IGDA Sacramento. For me, it was when I started my games. Even just having the confidence to say I'm gonna make a game, because that's the first biggest step. It's just having the confidence to make it. But then it becomes a thing of who else is out there that's struggling for that direction. And long story short, we are now in a position where my main goal, one of my biggest goals for this chapter, is happening now. We are creating talent here in Sacramento. We are not outsourcing it anywhere, unless we really, really need to, because times are tough. We just sometimes we need to. But there's so much talent here in Sacramento, and so much of this talent have been very hesitant, because they don't know where to go. They don't know who to connect with. They don't know who to talk to, or they have connected with people and they have lost, they have been screwed over. Their trust has been tainted, and they're like, what do we do now? And you briefly mentioned the Bay Area. A lot of them, how many people we've met from LA, from the Bay, they were from here, but they left Sacramento because they wanted something better, and they ended up in some way, shape, or form got screwed over. So now they're back, and now it's not just games that everyone's going to be able to play. It's the games are being made by Sacramento folks, and now, the person trying these games is not going to be just a commenter on an app. It's going to be in your face, like, this is what I think, and so on and so forth. And there's that in your face interaction. How old school yet how new it seems today in 2015. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So much I could ask you guys about. It's only a 3-hour show, however. But guys, seriously, don't even. We met up for dinner a couple weeks ago. We could have been there all night. But anyway, let me ask you about this, specifically the game you're working on. You're working on a game with Nascent Games. You are creating a game. You just had a big demo go out to Desura, right? Yep. And this is something that people should be keeping their eye on. Is going to come to the Wii U eventually, right? Yes, it will. Tell us a little bit about Crumple.
So Crumple, our very, very first game demo ever on anything, which was extremely unexpected. I really didn't in the back of our head we thought, yeah, we can make it happen, but you don't really believe completely it's going to actually happen, but now it has. And I've been very, very fortunate to connect with the right people, just taking that initiative to connect with folks. And now we're at this place. Our demo's out there on Desura. We are at probably around 2,000 visits and tries for just the demo in a week. And that's insane because I don't know who the hell they are. I mean, and I know we have, I think 5 different countries. I mean, I've seen people trying our game from Ukraine, Italy, Germany, Finland. I don't know who these people are. It's huge.
You and I have the exact same reactions, but for you, it's a game. For me, it's a podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The same thing. You sit there and you go, somebody in Belgium's listening to my show and sending me an email. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's insane. Right? And the reviews have been. We actually got our first review from some person. I have no idea who they are, but they reviewed our game. They're very, very in depth with it. The commentaries, especially from my own, dear Briana as well. She left some fantastic commentary, especially the Twitter was nuts that day. But anyway, so Crumple, back to Crumple. So Crumple is. Yes, it's going to be out for PC first, then for the Wii U. Crumple is about this little envelope that comes to life, and it wakes up in this burning paper factory. I kind of wanted to go with the similar approach of Limbo, where this little boy wakes up in Limbo. We have no idea how the hell it got there, but, it just has to keep going. So I kind of wanted to approach it that way with Crumple, but obviously, it's not in like the first circle of hell or anything like that. It's just in a burning paper factory. Just wanted to keep it simple, and then proceed from there. The game's going to be released in episodes, so the first full episode for Crumple should hopefully be out sometime in May, and then episode 2 and 3 hopefully about 3 or 4 months apart from each one. And then the idea will be, once we get all those episodes out, get it ported over to the Wii U. I would need to find a new programmer for it, though, because Wii U doesn't play Flash games. So I have to use either HTML5 or JavaScript. But anyway, technical stuff. Right. So now... Oops, I'm sorry, dear. So our other game, I'm tripping my own partner. So our other game is Kinship, and Kinship was actually the first game we started on, but it is admittedly a bit of an ambitious game, but that's what I want. I like, you need that ambition, but then you need your simple stuff. So Kinship is essentially an action story implemented shmup. And, shmups are a dime a dozen, one of the oldest genres out there in video gaming, but very few of them have ever implemented any sort of story, let alone any sort of decent story. And I said, you know what? I want to take the things I loved about Gradius 3, Axlay, R-Type, games like that, but have some sort of deeper-ish, not Mass Effect deeper-ish, but I mean, just deeper narrative to it, where, as I mentioned before, where people were maybe like Briana, who may not be into shmups, can just watch it and be like, wow, that's great. That's cool. What happens next? So
you know who you might need to talk to? I would be remiss if I did not mention, because we just had them on the show like 6 weeks ago, but the guys behind Star Mazer, which is a game that's on Kickstarter that's a shooter meets a point-and-click adventure game. I don't know if you've seen that, but when you kind of talk about that, I mean, I'm sure you're not thinking like the same direction or whatever, but like that, I couldn't help but have that pop in my mind. But that's so funny that all these like different ideas, and I think I was hearing a lot of that same thing from them, is that this is the game we wanted to make. This was our vision, and we've got these two genres, and we wanted a game that had both. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's actually good. I would love to actually connect with them. And and now that it's with the first game being on Desura for a demo, and learning that Desura actually accepts demos for Unity, because Kinship's being made in Unity. We're going to get a demo for Kinship on Unity, hopefully in the next couple of months.
Great.
Hopefully within May as well, and finally tease that more as well. So yeah, there's some great stuff happening.
You're going to be a busy guy in these coming months between this event in April and then these releases in May. By the way, since you mentioned you've got about 2,000 people that have checked out Crumple so far, I'm sure our dozens and dozens of listeners can help out a little bit and at least get that number up, maybe 10 more. So let's go and give you guys the link. www.desura.com/games/crumple. That's CRUMPLE if you want to check that out.
And it's the biggest important thing that I ask for, and I cannot stress this enough, please leave feedback in the comments, even if it means sending me a private message to let me know what you think. If you're following me on Twitter, shoot me a direct message, whatever the case may be. I want to know what you guys think, because it's very vital to the development, the further development of this game, but don't be an ass about it. Just talk to me, be constructive about what you're saying.
Right.
Tell me why. I'm not going to cry about it. I've got a very thick skin. I'm from Jersey, so I can handle this. We good. You know what I'm saying? I just want constructive criticism, because if I hear BS, all I'm going to say is +1 out of spite and move forward. I'm not going to do, and they're going to be like, what is he doing that for? Because I'm not going to feed to that. So that's all I ask.
So since you brought up you were from Jersey, that lit a spark in my head that I have to ask you about this, because I will say the Northeast folks that I do know that listen to the show would kick my butt if they knew I knew you were involved with this and didn't ask you about it. But you used to do a lot of stuff with MagFest, right? Out back east, right?
I did. Yes. I was I just did volunteer work at I think MagFest 8 or 9. I think MagFest 8, and then a couple years later, I had moved here to Sacramento and reconnected with the team there, and had asked them this was a couple years ago. I had asked them, hey, look, what would it cost to get me a table? Because I'm working on games now. This was when I only had Kinship. I said, well, what would it cost to get a table? They're like, well, wait a minute, we're doing something for Indie for MagFest. They're like, you want to run the department? I'm like, we remember how you helped us so greatly with volunteering. I'm like, wait. I'm in California. I just want to show off my game. You're asking me to help run this new department? And it turned out, myself and my partner, Tronster, we formed what is now MagFest Independent Video Game Showcase. I think MIVS, I think that's what it stands for. But we've done it for a few years now, and now there's talk for something more here, but okay. I'll leave that more for later. This was literally just like yesterday,
but it's becoming more and more apparent I have no choice but to go to MagFest 2016.
You have no reason to miss MagFest. I swear to God, man, because MagFest will destroy you. MagFest is 4 days of madness. It's just 4 days of nonstop, and they don't shut down.
My body is ready.
No, seriously, your body better be ready, because it's like it doesn't shut down. Like it doesn't shut. That's the thing about MagFest. Unlike these other conventions where okay, we're closed at 6 or we're closed at 7. No, MagFest literally starts at 12 noon on a Thursday and does not end until Sunday or Monday. 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're literally, you have open access 24 hours for that 4-day weekend.
That sounds like our beloved Dragon Con, which isn't games, it's a different type of thing, but I love that, like just 24/7.
Yep.
Beer in hand. Let's do this. Yep. Good times. Yep. Good times. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. SSJ100 Matt saying the Indie Showcase was really impressive last year. He's out in that area. And Breakman with a question about your game here. How did you come up with the name Crumple?
Funny enough, so Crumple, it was funny because I was kind of debating when I was figuring out a name for this game, because my biggest struggle was I know what I want the character to be. That was one challenging part. I stood the envelope up, and as I looked at the envelope, I said that some envelopes have windows, but there was just one. I said, what if I add another one? There are the eyes. And then I'm like, now I've got an identifying character. Now comes the next steps. What can it do? What will it be able to do? And one of the biggest things was crumpling. And funny enough, this is kind of no one knows this, not even you, Brie. When we were in the process of because it's just a 2-man team for Crumple. When Alex, big shout out to my man Alex. He's the programmer, artist, the whole 9 yards, the animator for all of this. When we were talking, I actually kept calling it Crumble, and he had to correct me like a month later. He's like, Gabriel, can I just tell you something? I'm like, what? He was like, it's Crumple. It's not Crumble. You're confusing your envelope with coffee cake. He's like, please stop doing that. And I'm like, oh, I want coffee cake. But then I was embarrassed after that, and I was like, holy crap, yes. And when he did that, when he said that to me, I said, yes. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it Crumple. So essentially the title is at the cost of my dignity, calling it something else entirely different, but it caught on. And then I said, now we have to emphasize Crumple. What is it? How are we defining this? So yeah, that's kind of where it happened there.
I do feel like you're pitching ideas for a sequel, though, because you could have a coffee cake in Crumple 2, The Crumbling. You could have that. So just throwing that out there.
All right. Hey, it's video games, man. You can do whatever the hell you want, man.
You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Dungeon Buster in chat over at live.vognetwork.com says, your body better be ready. That's the Bagfest byline right there.
Yes, sir.
Put that on the poster. All right. More information where we can check out Nascent Games and Crumple. Surely you've got a website, a Twitter.
Absolutely.
Plug away.
Yeah, funny enough, the website admittedly has been tough to keep up with because it's just me, myself, and I for the time being. But nascentgames.com, you can see our stuff there. I haven't updated it in a while, so forgive me. Don't hold it against me. But I am phenomenal on Twitter. I am amazing on there. So my Twitter handle is @nascentgames. So just hit us up there. And the good thing is, at least, even though I don't update the website too often, there's a live Twitter feed connected to the website, so at least you'll see things going on actively on there. So, yeah. And also, actually, matter of fact, if you want to see gameplay videos of both games, we have our most recent trailer for Kinship and our most recent game, our only gameplay video for Crumple on YouTube. We have a channel on YouTube, youtube.com/nascentgames. Yeah, you can check stuff out there as well. So
awesome. Great. Well, I encourage folks to check out that demo for Crumple, and I will be checking that out too for sure. I was meant to play it last week when I saw you guys at the event that you guys do every Tuesday, which I'll talk more about with Bree in a minute. I wanted to see that, but it's timing. I wasn't able to have the time to see it, so soon. I
brought it with me. We could plug it up to the TV later.
We might have to do that during break. We'll make that happen. I do want to spend a little time. I know we got to get to our gaming weeks and the news and everything, but I can't just. Bree's been so patient.
Oh, yes. No, definitely.
I want to talk to Bree a little bit here about what she does with the IGDA. Now, Bree, I know you're not necessarily creating games, but as Gabriel was saying before, sometimes game developers need help. And I know a lot of that help, and I need it with running a podcast, is the business end of things, right?
Yes, that's true. So my background is in performing arts, and I grew up loving games, and it wasn't until I met with Gabriel that everything was kind of put together for me, as far as it's not just the programming, it's not just the art, there's also the music component, and then as the business aspect as well, especially for our local developers here. Many of them are startup companies or getting ready to become a startup company, and we, as part of the IGDA, we want to help encourage them to build a strong foundation because we want them to be long lasting. That's very important, and especially with Gabriel kind of leading the charge with that, as well as a few of the other established studios here. We're all kind of growing together. And so, yeah, my whole role in this wonderful world of game development here in Sacramento is I'm kind of the storyteller. I like to be the voice for our chapter and for our developers. Again, we are in Sacramento, California. We're a lot different than the Bay Area, but we're the capital of California, and there was no presence here at all. So now we have the attention of the United Kingdom. We have IGDA Australia that's a little jealous of our networking and mingle events.
Yeah, I before I really knew you guys, I would try to explain like game development in Sacramento, and I'd be like, "Well, there's that building downtown. It's BioWare. Oh wait, no, it's EA. Oh wait, no, but that's all I could really think about. But sure, there's tons that I haven't been seeing until you guys have been getting bigger.
There are. So when I was speaking with Gabriel yesterday during our last Progressive Game Jam, we've had people come through, and it kind of made sense where we have all these different components. We have the established studios, the AAA studios, and then our scene, the indie scene. And now as IGDA, I think we're all just trying to put that together so that we all start working together to help grow together. It's all about togetherness.
That's great. Tell me a little bit. Here on the show a couple weeks ago, I focused a lot on PAX East because I was out at Penny Arcade Expo in Boston, so I talked a little bit about my experiences there. But meanwhile, at the same time, GDC was going on. So when you're talking about togetherness, my mind goes, well, that's the time when they're all together is GDC. Tell me a little bit about your experiences at GDC this year.
So at the top of the show, I said, haha, I'm so glad to be here because I'm a casual gamer. I hope your chat room is blowing up right now because once you guys start getting into details, it's not that like it goes over my head. I'm just not there yet. I am in my renaissance. So GDC for me was mind-blowing. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're hearing it here first. I get so anxious playing games in front of other people. So to be at a conference with 24,000 developers from around the world freaked me out. But I loved it because the workshops were incredible, very informative. They had a whole retro section. I kind of, I had my business workshops that I went to. But then I just kind of walked around and played games. And I thought that was the coolest thing because none of my other boring conferences had that.
But you will not be here to promote a Twitch channel tonight if you don't.
So I'm trying to figure out how to get myself on Twitch because I think I'd be pretty entertaining.
So even though you just said, I don't like to play games in front of other people, you're like, but you know what? I'm just going to throw caution.
I know what you should play. You need to play Hot to Full Boyfriend on Twitch. That would be hilarious.
I'm unaware of this.
It's a pigeon
it's
dating
a pigeon dating simulator.
Oh,
but it's got like once you've dated all the pigeons, then it has like this really like morbid whole full storyline. It's really wrong and hilarious.
See, there's a whole world that I have yet to explore, and you guys need to help open my perspective.
All right, you got it. We got your back. Just don't listen to the games that my chatters say you should play because then you'll be doing nothing but Five Nights at Freddy's, Amnesia. Scary game.
Mr. I haven't played Five Nights at Freddy's 2 after Jamie bought it for him.
Anyway.
I'm open.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the event we're going to be broadcasting from on April 11th. What can folks look forward to seeing? I mean, again, a very small portion of our audience is actually in Sacramento, so I have to kind of look at the bigger picture about what everybody's going to hear nationwide. But what can folks kind of look forward to coming out of this event?
So, Gabriel, would you like to chime in?
Love it. You're adorable. So the main thing is it's a professional developers event where we open access to all gamers to try out these professional upcoming startup indie studios, and like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be in your face, and there's going to be at least 15 game developers, a couple, I think at least one, maybe two, is an indie studio bringing the Oculus Rift. They brought it last year, and it was huge. It was a huge response. I mean, but fortunately, it was a huge response for all the teams, all the studios. So we're going to have more of that this year. I think it's there's a greater scale now because and I want to say a huge achievement. Which is so Xbox language talk, but anyway, it's but it's like it's real stuff here because this year Kate Edwards, she's the executive director for all of IGDA. She's going to be here as the keynote speaker for our little local chapter event.
So the president of the IGDA,
or the top dog, she will be here.
Is going to be here, and we're gonna if hopefully I'm 99% sure we're gonna bring her to you on VOG.
Yeah,
and you can check it out.
You guys are, and that's a huge step for us because that means they see what we're doing. She sees it. She values it. She saw it at GDC because we made our chapter known at GDC. It wasn't just a social gathering. I said we're turning this into a demo night, and we that's what we did. So it was great to have that. So she saw that. Other people that we're going to have speaking, we have Jeff Louie from Cap City, which is where we host a lot of our IGDA events, and even my own startup studio where I meet with my team and we work on there. And so Jeff Louie, big founder of Cap City, he's going to be there speaking as well. We have Deborah Miramoto from California Capital. She's all about minority-owned, women-owned businesses, startups, providing resources, business resources, legal resources, all these things. She attended one of our events and spoke for a little while, so we're getting this recognition, from these real deal people.
Yeah.
And then finally, our educational advisor for the chapter, his name is Patrick Cranley. He's a professor at Sac City College. He's going to soon be running the entire game developer program for Sac City College. He's going to be speaking as well. And it's just a huge deal. So we're going to have there's going to be a lot of guidance and education, advice. So
I was just going to say, we've had kind of a running theme on VOG Network practically this year about yes, you can make a game, and sometimes it's going to be very difficult and it can be very time consuming, but yes, you can make a game.
Yeah,
and I think there's a lot of people out there that may not even know where I want to make a game, and I'm starting to get that technical know-how and do this, but now what do I do with it? How do I get noticed? How do I get bigger? And I feel like I love how you said you're going to let all the gamers get access to this information. We can all see how the sausage is made, type of thing. And I think that's excellent. I think that's great. I'm so looking forward to that myself.
Said sausage.
It's what it is. It's not a. Why y'all got to take it to a nasty place? It's not a nasty thing. All right. Anyway.
And now I'm going to get all serious again. And that's what I found, at least in my promoting of the event with people around the area, is, I'm talking to parents who have younger kids that are very passionate about their video games, but, they don't have the experience that we do with some of the retro games and to see where it's at now. So their kids are like, I want to make a game. I want to learn how to make a game. I don't know where to go. Please come to our event, because what we found in our own chapter is we're working with gentlemen and a few ladies that are, in their late 30s that are just now getting to do what they love to do. And we don't want kids to wait that long. So there's really a bigger picture going on here, and we want the entire community, the whole region, to come and see. And who knows what's going to be ignited within them.
That is so powerful. That really, truly, just that really just lays it out right there. That you don't want some kid thinking they can't do it and wait until they're, my age to do it.
Yeah, and I
awesome
was one of those, actually, what she just said. I was one of those kids. I wanted to start. I had game ideas, and I didn't know they were game ideas. I just wrote things on paper. I was 9-10 years old, drawing out highways and crappy-looking city skylines.
Did we all do that?
Yeah.
That was the big thing in grade school. You draw the dungeon, and I'm drawing out the store. Okay, now, so you're going to have to buy a rope from the store to get over the pit, or you're going to get eaten by this little alligator I drew.
I will say that the one my friend Ashley and I made in 9th grade in high school turned out to be a tabletop game I ran in college.
Nice.
There
awesome. You go. Anything is possible, kids. You see, anything is possible. And that's just it.
I do have to say, though, I hope no kids are listening to this show. That whole salty thing we talked about before.
Yeah.
If so,
it's purely
we're
educational.
If so, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. The following commentary, we're not responsible, on VOG Network and its affiliates. But yeah, and I think that's where our arcade event is going to stand out from other types of events. Other types of events, it's just entertainment. Oh, look at your famous celebrity. Oh, good, I've seen you for the third year in a row. But no, here you're going to learn. You're going to have fun. You're going to learn.
we get to play,
and
too.
Yeah, and that's it. You're going to play. You're going to interact. And
It'll be nice to actually play with an Oculus Rift for once.
And Bree, here you go.
I want to ask Bree a little more, and then I got to start to wrap things up so we can move on. But I want to ask Bree a little more about the play end of this, because it's not just like lectures and things and motivation, but there's play as well. But I do have to get some comments from our chat room. Dark Tetsuya over at live.vognetwork.com says, sausage is good.
I love sausage.
Thank you. Me too. All right. And Bobby Blackwolf says, to be fair, we had to wait that long because we didn't have AAA level game engines available for low cost or free when we were in college. If Unity or UE4 existed when I was in college, I would have made games in college.
Precisely.
That's true. We had the Incredible Machine, and you got to make your little machines in there. ZZT, right?
Hey, don't be knocking click and play, okay?
No. It was all about muds.
All right. Bree, tell us a little bit quickly about the play end of things. So it's not just this educational, but we get to play too.
Right. Indie Arcade is going to be fun. We've partnered with Retro Gen 916, and every Tuesday they host a throwback down the street from us. And they're going to set up a bunch of consoles, everything from the NES to the Super NES to PlayStation, the first one, and you'll have a diverse array of games to play.
They have a virtual boy. And
they
that
have a virtual boy?
That impressed me.
Holy cow. We're going to have some Guitar Hero up. Bill from Davis Atari Party is going to set up a mini Atari party.
Yes, Dan was mentioning that because we go to Atari Party every year. My husband.
He's coming up.
Cool.
So you'll get a preview of that. Yeah. You guys are going to be there, so that's a party in itself.
Oh, shucks.
We're going to have video game tournaments, Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers, Killer Instinct, and Mario Kart 8. And there's going to be documentaries and live video game music. It's going to be a really great party. So it's not all boring.
But the boring stuff is important. It's a little bit of both. A little bit of both.
Which means Gabriel, stop talking about boredom stuff. I got you.
No.
I got
you guys are a lot of fun. We can hear you guys actually talk even more. You can hear more of this chemistry, right? You guys have your own podcast that you
do? We actually have our next... God help us. Yeah. We have our next show actually on Wednesday.
Don't sell yourselves short now.
No,
God. Don't remind me about the podcast. Oh, shit.
We have on the first Wednesday of every month, we do our own video game, community type of news discussion and talk and ranting and so on and so forth. And,
he rants. I just tweet. Because he doesn't share the microphone. Kind of like right now. Oh, there's your preview. Sat Gamers Unite. At Sat Gamers Unite on Twitter.
Tune in for more drama on Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
We'll be doing a 3-hour show.
Can I say, I love that she has to interrupt you to actually plug the actual podcast.
I know. That's
because you're not mentioning this is where you go to listen to it.
It's on purpose. It's
you guys are hilarious.
It's all scripted.
Stay forever. You guys are great. All right. Okay. So again, just one more time, the SAC Indie Arcade event is happening April 11th. That's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific on VOG. My understanding is it might go a little later if you're there in person.
Yep.
But on VOG, it'll be 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific, and we're so excited to bring it to you guys. And I'm just excited to go and meet all this talent you guys are helping to. It's kind of like we're watering the lawn, and soon it's going to look like my backyard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly it. Just, the community, because we're all in this together here. And I mean, that's why I say, I'm in it. I'm still learning it all. And I just, at this point, it's like whatever I learn, I want to share with others because we're all in this together. And that's essentially what this event is about. It's a celebration of of this talent here. So.
Awesome. And I hope folks worldwide will tune in to hear it and not only check out, some of these what gamers or what game makers kind of go through and what they learn about, but also some of these games that you might be playing yourself someday or should be playing, really. You can play right now on Desura or wherever. All these other different companies have their games hosted. I do want to ask one more very important question, and then we'll move into our gaming weeks and the news and everything. But I always ask every guest that comes on OLR, I got to know, favorite video game of all time, and defend your choice.
Oh, no.
And you can only pick one.
Okay. I'm going to let Briana answer first.
Okay, yeah, she's
And
going,
do you know why he's going to let me answer first? Because he's going to take forever.
All right.
I like Galaga, and I'm proud to say that.
Okay.
I've come a long way because I was very hesitant to say that before. But here I am. I'm saying
Where's
it.
the Galaga hate? Is there a Galaga hate club out there? The Galaga's important.
Maybe there was no hate, but I was still very intimidated to say it.
Oh, Galaga's awesome.
When she said that to me, I was like, Galaga's phenomenal. What do you mean? Don't ever be ashamed of that. And yeah, we became real close after that. It was awesome. But
especially considering Galaga's a shooter, and you were talking about shooters earlier, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that was unplanned, I promise you.
Right.
So with me, oh my goodness, there's so many. But yes, if there's one that really, really hits home for me and really life itself is Journey.
Yep. No, wait a minute though. To be clear, Jamie's probably thinking about the 1981 game. No, I'm just kidding. You're not talking about Journey the band, although that was an awesome game too.
I was talking about the new one that I honestly have only watched people play because it's pretty.
Yes, made by that game company who I had the pleasure of meeting, both founders, Genova Chen and Kelly Santiago. Kelly Santiago was a guest on our show recently, and I had the pleasure of meeting Genova twice. Yes, Journey is definitely the life-changing game for me. There's so many, but Journey's it. Definitely.
Interesting. You don't hear a lot of people picking a contemporary choice when presented with that question. You know, most answers I hear are either 80s arcade classics like we got there or Nintendo or Super Nintendo. If you ask me, I'd say Super Metroid. But
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, there's just so many. Yeah, like if you talk about the ending of Super Metroid, we can go on.
See, Rob's wrong because actually the best game ever is the Guardian Legend.
All right. Anyway. But you don't hear contemporary choices. Awesome. So what was it about Journey that just made you go, This is it. This is the experience I've been waiting for.
Because Journey took two characters a character that had no identity, and the entire game it was all about it finding itself and its purpose for being there and why. And for me, it took me that so long to find myself and have my identity, which I did not have until I got here to Sacramento. I didn't have that period. So that, and for the timing of the game of the game's release was impeccable because I just started on Kinship. You know, we actually started having an actual tiny prototype, and then I see this game, and then I see the story of that game company, and you know, it just I mean, it hits at the deepest core of me. So
no, I hear you. Like I remember my first experience with that game, and I can mention this now. It's not really spoilers. The game's been out for years.
Yeah.
But the big twist in that game was that you're not alone when you play Journey. You will be put in. I mean, it's online, and so another random person will be in your game, and with all the venom that's out there sometimes in the gaming world, and I know we've all seen the YouTubes of people that do really nasty things when they play Halo and so forth, Journey strips that out. You cannot verbally communicate with the other person that's there, but you can non-verbally communicate, and you have other ways of making cues with that person. And seeing the way that people essentially invented language in a game like Journey.
Yes, they did.
Was phenomenal. And I think for me, that game is definitely probably, I would agree, is like in the top 10 for me of all time.
Absolutely.
And I think the way that people, it was a game that made you invent language, or you could also choose to just abandon the person.
Yep.
And that says
Just
a lot
go.
about how people react in different situations as well. And I remember not knowing that twist going in and playing it, and when I figured it out that the person that was with me was another person,
was an actual person
playing,
Yep.
I was like, mind exploded.
Yeah.
Mind exploded.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and it's so simple. It is so simple.
But my God, what a powerful message. And that's just it. That's exactly it. So yeah, I would definitely say that.
Amazing stuff. All right, good answers, you guys. Good answers. And Dungeon Buster in chat showing some love for Galaga. It's a big arcade classic. No shame.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into our gaming weeks and the types of video games we've been playing this week. And of course, I'm going to invite our guests to stay as long as they can tonight and chime in on our regular segments as well as the news. But let's quickly go over our gaming weeks. We'll try to make this a little quick tonight for time. Dark Sakura.
I feel really sad because the game that Ikuma JP sent to me and Dan. I haven't had a chance to play yet because either he's been busy watching stuff or hasn't been home for us to play it together.
And so you have to do it together, yeah.
Because it's the Kunio-kun, sports game series. So like Super Dodgeball and all those, which is super fun. I did play some Final Fantasy 14 today, long enough to check out the Gold Saucer, which is I still maintain that I hate Ul'dah because it's worse to navigate than Orgrimmar was in WoW. And then what else did I do? Oh, yeah, I did the first quest at the Gold Saucer. I'm kind of like, I played like a game of Triple Triad. I'm like, this is stupid. So,
What? I love Triple Triad.
well, you can play Triple Triad for me. And I took Hot Wings out and tried to get him some levels.
Your chocobo.
My chocobo is a red chocobo named Hot Wings.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kentucky Fiagra Chocobo or whatever that old joke.
Faraga Chocobo. Yeah.
I bow to you in that. Oh my god.
So, and I did play, I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition. The DLC came out. So, been playing through Jaws of Hakon. It's pretty okay. I'm just mad that it nixed all of my mods. And the modding community is plenty pissed too, but of course they understand. There's actually, dude from BioWare went on Reddit, one of the programmers, and said, hey, we didn't do this on purpose, but we cannot accommodate for mods when we put out the DLC.
Exactly. We have to bug check our own shit. We can't bug check yours.
Exactly. And he went into some of the differences. I was going to actually put that in on Showroll, just reading from the forum on there, but I didn't. But he was going in saying that, Frostbite is a completely different creature than what they used before, Unreal Engine. Mm-hmm. Saying that it doesn't allow let me start over. It doesn't allow for that type of maintenance of the mods to keep them working like it did in the previous iterations. So another guy on one of the mod forums on the official BioWare forum, they actually got another guy in to pick up where Warranty Voider left off from the version of the mod tools. And they're saying that the code was pretty much open for Frostbite in the full release, but in the DLC there's like 72 lines of encrypted code that basically are what's preventing it from being just open source for everybody. So that's where they're getting into, do we break this or do we just stop the mods here or do we find another way to get it to work? So
fair enough. So you've been pretty busy with the Dragon Age then.
And writing fan fiction.
All right. Fair enough. Loki, how was your gaming week?
I didn't play anything.
You didn't play anything?
Yeah, unfortunately.
But you're still working on your own game. That's
yeah, I've been working on mine. And then what else I did? Oh, I also went through because I had noticed I had some message from Indie Gala or whatever about some upcoming bundle that they had. I was like, I should really check these sites that I've been buying these bundles for to see if I've actually redeemed all my games on Steam. And no, I hadn't. So now I'm up to like over 350 games.
The Steam problem.
I haven't played.
He's over 9,000.
I don't even know what they are anymore. I'm like, what is this thing that I bought? Whatever. And then they had that sale this week. Was it on PlayStation Network?
Was that the 10% discount or?
No, it was the games under.
$1. The dollar. The games. Yeah.
So I had to buy like Katamari. Yes. Twismail Black. Yes.
And then you played none of them.
Right. Because I didn't play any of them. That's okay though. So, but no, I spent most of my week actually trying to get some confetti launchers to work correctly in my game, and they look nice.
You have to get the perfect confetti cannon.
I did have to get the perfect confetti cannon, and so now my confetti looks nice.
I love it. Let me. I'm going to go to Gabriel next with his gaming week because we're hearing from Loki that the development of games is keeping him from playing a lot of games. Are you having the same experience?
No. So no.
Well, instruct Loki on how it's done. What have you been playing?
It's just time management and maybe losing some sleep or whatever, sacrificing time to call your family, whatever. It's fine. But yeah, the games for this week have been Ori and the Blind Forest, Xbox One, stunning, gorgeous, but painfully difficult game. Should not be as difficult as it is for as gorgeous as it is, because I think it's taken away from some of my experiences with it so far, but it's still a gorgeous game. Resident Evil Revelations 2, I was rocking that. I've been rocking that out this week, the full game. Been loving that so far. And DuckTales for the Nintendo just came in for me a couple yesterday, so I was rocking that out yesterday. So yeah, DuckTales for the NES. Yep.
Wait, like you say it came in for you. So
Yes,
somebody out there is hunting old NES games and putting some aside for you, huh?
Well, yeah, and then I got a really good deal for it. So,
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna need some contact information.
we will talk. Yeah, the retro gen people, I've surprised them
All
with the
right.
games that they just couldn't find, but that I did. So yeah, and then I think the last game that I've been messing around with, Shantae and the Pirate something on the Wii U because they put it on discount. So
I have
yeah,
that on Steam.
yes, great game, loving the hell out of that game. So yeah, that's been mainly my games this week.
Awesome. Brianna, what about you? What kind of video games have you been playing this week?
Remember, new gamer here.
It's all right.
So my whole week encompassed 2 games, one of which was the Crumple demo because my laptop is so slow and I keep dying, I keep burning, and I keep dying. Do you hear the aggressiveness in my voice? That is what you would see on a Twitch video because I get so frustrated.
But you're giving all that feedback.
Oh, heck yes, I gave all that feedback.
Good.
And then the second game I started playing just Friday night, the Fast and Furious free play from Xbox One.
Oh, I want to check that out. I don't even have an Xbox One.
I downloaded that today, or I meant to download.
Check that out. I just beat it today. Is it on Xbox 360?
Yes,
It is. Oh, Gabriel's telling me yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
There it is. Sorry, just remember, sir, if you're not on a mic, they can't hear you.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I yell out random things at a whim as well. It's just that this one's permanently attached to my face. So how are you liking the Fast and the Furious expansion, or I guess standalone side story for Forza?
So I really like driving games.
Me too.
And I love Forza. I have the Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon 2, and I forgot how much I enjoy it because I was playing Rise for a little bit, and I have 3% left, and then I'm done with my first game ever, like all the way through. Do you hear the excitement in my voice? I'm so proud. I won't tell you how long it's taken me because that's embarrassing.
I can't remember the last time I got 100% on a game because I have what we call here at OLR gamer ADD.
People don't finish games?
No. It depends on who you are. See, now Dark Sakura, she'll talk about the same game for 50 weeks on this show, but she has explored every nook and cranny of the hinterlands like you wouldn't believe.
No, I did that on purpose because I actually wanted to fill up the whole map and see if I could break the map.
See?
That's me. I have to hit every XP board. I need to drive every single race. And then if I don't come in the top 3, I need to do that race again.
Y'all don't want to know what I did with Mass Effect.
See?
I have modded my Mass Effect to where it's all high-res mods and custom hair and everything.
See,
so.
you're not alone. You're not like
Yay.
she's making her. She's trying to push beyond. The Castlevania Symphony of the Night has ruined her because she feels she can push beyond 100% exploration.
You can't
in
do
Mass
it on
Effect.
the Xbox version.
Oh, that's right. I
The
heard
trick
about
doesn't
that.
work on the Xbox version.
I heard about that.
What was it? 211%.
Yeah, 211.
Yeah.
You
You
can't
can get
do
206, I think, but not 211.
that?
Yeah,
Goodness
because you
sake.
can't do the wolf trick where you do the wolf turn into the gas and then the bat to fly outside.
Yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I know. Okay, my gaming week I'll talk about real quick. I got to play a little bit of Bloodborne today because my friend Shane brought that over, and I got killed a lot, and I had no idea what the hell I was doing because, that's one of those games that just kind of throws you in. It's like, have fun. You're going to die. No,
lot.
literally, it's set up. You will die in the first 5 minutes of the game. You have to. There's no way around it. And I was like, what the hell? I'm getting killed by the first mob? What kind of sadistic fuck plays this game? And
Yes.
I do. But I got to say, it is a gorgeous game. As much as I was getting frustrated by how am I supposed to play a 3D game with my old brain? How am I going to play a 3D game with no map? You mean to tell me there's no map in Bloodborne? What am I supposed to use visual cues and landmarks? What is this? So
Dudes don't need maps.
this one does. I will defy that stereotype. I would love to put Siri in the game to say, go left, up ahead, and look out for the werewolf behind the rock. That's what I would love to have, but not going to happen. Because then they would be dumbing it down for filthy casuals like me, and heaven forbid a game like
So are you
Bloodborne.
suggesting like a Bobby Blackwolf
Yes, I need Bobby
best friend?
Bobby Blackwolf Bloodborne. Say that 4 times fast. Bobby Blackwolf Bloodborne. That's what I need. All right. Anyway, so I played a little bit of that, just a little bit. I didn't buy the game, but a friend of mine brought it over so I could check it out. But I did play a little bit of, and I got to give a shout out to this. I don't talk about mobile games an awful lot on the show, but there's one that came out this week, and I a lot of you that are into this series probably are aware of it, but if you're not, I'm going to mention Final Fantasy Record Keeper that just came out on iOS and I believe Android. And the last Final Fantasy original game that they did, the ATB game or whatever that game was called, I hated that game. I was not a fan of that game.
It was awful.
I did not.
Don't
right?
even,
It
don't.
was finger swipey the game. It was just clean the window of the game. Like you just swipe your finger back and forth as fast as you can. The good news is Final Fantasy Record Keeper, I think, is a lot more the type of Final Fantasy game we freaking wanted out of a mobile. And this game is going to tickle your nostalgia bone. It's going to it's going to do a lot to your nostalgia bone because this game is filled with nostalgia, meaning that you travel back and forth into different Final Fantasy worlds. And so you'll maybe play a little bit of the Final Fantasy X story, but you're not playing the game itself. You're just fighting monsters in classic Final Fantasy fashion and old bosses. But the party that you use can be made up of characters that you acquired playing Final Fantasy VII memories or Final Fantasy IV memories, so you can mix and match the party in these classic Final Fantasy fights. And here's the part that y'all wanted. They made Final Fantasy VII and 10, and I don't know, I think 12's in there too. They made them all pixel sprites. From the characters to the monsters and bosses,
gasp.
right?
God.
But you get all the classic music and all that. So I thought, now it is a free-to-play game, so they do have some, money elements in it where you can get like better equipment and you can get some other things with the premium currency. But I was pretty impressed with what they give you for the free baseline experience.
Oh my Lord!
I know.
Damn me for having a Windows phone. That sucks.
Oh, it'll never come out for that. I'm
Wah,
just kidding.
wah.
So I gotta say, Record Keepers for a Final Fantasy mobile game's pretty cool. It's worth checking out for free.
Brianna can download it.
So there you go. Let me borrow your phone.
Yes.
All right. Love it. All right, so that was my gaming week. So quickly, some housekeeping here in studio. Of course, follow us on Twitter, please. Twitter.com/OLR. We're also on Facebook, Facebook.com/orangeloungeradio, and we're even on Google Plus at Google.com/plus orangeloungeradio, all one word. We will get to the Fugle question of the week a little later on. And as I'm mentioning every week until it gets here, we will be broadcasting live April 11th. We're going to be broadcasting from the Sacramento Indie Arcade event, brought to you by the Sacramento IGDA, whom are here in the studio tonight, some of the folks from that. And, we'll be there live from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and you can check that out on Saturday. And I'm hoping if, for whatever reason, you miss it, I don't want you to miss it, but if you have to miss it, because, I don't know, WrestleMania is next Saturday as well, or 2 Saturdays now as well.
It's today.
It says
No,
WrestleMania's tonight. Yeah.
That's my joke. But anyway, we're hoping that you'll be able to later after the fact go back and listen to it. We're going to try to archive it and all that good stuff so you can hear it. But please be there Saturday. Be there live, darn it. Because just like we interact with you guys during the show, there may be opportunities where you can ask questions in chat and we'll ask who happens to be sitting with us at the moment those questions. So if you're not here live, you will miss out on that.
Will there be loot?
Check that out. Will there be loot? Probably. I'll talk to Bobby about that. On VogNetwork.com, special loot available. Loot in person as well, right? Now, through VogNetwork.com, you can do the whole digital loot. If you're a member of the site, which is free. We don't charge for that. That's not cool. So you can go there and you get...
Kidding.
We're not going to. You can actually get loot just for participating with the site and checking into shows. If you're listening live, you check in. You get, a little something, some points. And then... if you listen on the podcast, there's a word hidden somewhere in the podcast. You can use that on the front page. You can check in and get points, and that often leads to loot. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some type of special loot for the SAC IGDA event. I don't know why we wouldn't. Bobby and I just have to work out the specifics of that for sure. But IRL loot, are there going to be giveaways at the event, the SAC Arcade event?
We are
Yeah?
Yes, Bree's pointing at me. Yes, we are planning that. We do have a few we did get a few prize sponsors, and we are still working on a few more things that I can't just say yet, because if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to upset a lot of people. But if it happens, then everyone's going to love us even more than they do now. But yes, we are going to have some giveaways that we're aiming for, and that's. I mean, I know for sure there may be a couple. There may be for the tournaments, Amiibo, Nintendo Amiibo stuff. I think we have. Did we receive codes for Construct, I think. So yeah, Construct is a games development software. Very popular.
Oh,
So
right, yeah.
so we're gonna have those as well. But there's still more stuff incoming. So it's gonna be late minute stuff. I already know it. So.
Very well. You know what? Sometimes the best ideas
it is really,
happen
yeah.
that way. All right. There you go with housekeeping. Let's get into some news and talk about what is going on in the universe of video gaming this week. There's been quite a bit, right, Loki?
Color me not surprised, but they made the announcement that Zelda isn't going to make it for 2015. I know. I'm totally shocked that they delayed the game.
I'm relieved as a game developer. My schedule was going to be around that, between that and Star Fox. Forget it. I'm glad because, good. Now you've given us a reprieve, technically. But anyway, I digress.
Basically, just reiterating that they're not making it a priority to release it in 2015. Instead, they're making it a priority to have a quality game, which I don't think anyone's going to argue against that. And then also going on to further say that, at E3 this year, they're going to be showing off games for 2015 only. Well, it's supposedly. We'll see.
Well, I am all for Zelda getting delayed. If that's what they have to do to make the game they want to do, then yes, delay it. And we all know, you've seen it all around Twitter, the Miyamoto quote about, a bad game is going to be a bad game forever, but a good game, is always going to be a good game. I'm totally paraphrasing. I don't have the exact quote in front of me. But, delay it and make a good game that people will remember, that's fine. But the reality is, and as much of a Nintendo fanboy as you might be, you have to realize that was a huge tentpole for Nintendo's 2015 holiday.
That was something that would have sold me a Wii U. Now I'm not buying a Wii U until that comes out.
Right. So what's going to fill in that gap now? And that, I imagine, is what we'll hear about at E3.
Star Fox.
You think maybe they'll
Definitely
bump Star Fox?
Star Fox.
I thought Star Fox was supposed to be a little sooner than that. Interesting.
It was supposed to be a few months before Zelda, but yeah, but again, I'm completely okay with it. I foresee definitely Star Fox, but I think they're going to come up with another surprise. I just don't know what yet.
My gut tells me it's going to be a mainline Mario game, and I don't know if that means they're going to try to crank out like a 3D Land 2 real quick. I fingers and toes crossed. Galaxy 3, I think, is what a lot of us would like to see.
Oh yeah,
and I'm even willing to go far enough and say, if they want to do a new Mario series, because the GameCube had Sunshine, the Wii had Galaxy.
Well,
if they would do a brand new Mario, I think that's fine too.
There is Mario Maker that's supposed to be coming this year as well.
But that's not system selling.
Yeah, I kind of put that as I'm like that. I want to pick that up. I want to buy that, but that's kind of like a more like the kind of something that should be out long before holiday.
True. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I'm very curious to see. Hey, I'll take an F-Zero remaster for the Wii U. Thank you, Nintendo. You listening?
Amen to that.
Amen.
Or remaster like Pikmin 2 or something dumb like that. I don't know.
We'll see.
It's what you wanted. You get Pikmin 2.
No. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Dark Tetsuya says, I remember watching the video. I could just sense that they would announce a delay to 2016. But I agree with Miyamoto's philosophy on delayed games. Tiger Claw says, you think they would make a new Super Mario Bros. 3. I would like to see another in that series. See, I kind of think that's the gap that Mario Maker fills. I think something... because Mario's a huge universe, obviously. I think something in the 3D Mario space would be great. But we'll see.
Well, Mario 3D World was spectacular. It definitely falls into probably my top 10 of all time for sure. Because not since Mario World and Mario 64 has a Mario game blown me away. I love Galaxy. Don't get me wrong.
I just have to say, I can tell you're from Jersey because you say Mario, and I don't hear that outside of East Coast.
I apologize to the English language.
No, it's great
for my vowel misrepresentation. But Mario Sunshine, Galaxy. Not to discredit those games. Those games were beautiful, wonderful games. But Mario 3D World literally brought back what was missing completely from a Mario game. So I can see that. I can definitely see it. But if they're going to do a new Super Mario Brothers game, they need to really change it up, because that Wii U one, it was pretty, but it was really just a remake of the Wii version. So.
And I think Mario Maker is going to fill that gap. I don't think we need to have 2 of those in a year. But I wouldn't complain. I'm not going to talk bad about it.
Does that mean we'll get a third Mario amiibo that everyone's gonna like cream themselves over. I mean, seriously.
Be careful what you wish for.
Well, technically, there are 3 already. Don't forget, there's the gold one.
And
Oh,
the silver
well,
one.
that's totally different than the other one. I mean,
Okay.
they didn't just slap paint on it or anything.
Here's what hasn't happened yet, and you know it's going to happen.
A
Is
good
the-
use for those amiibos?
No, pipe down, salty man. I'm talking about pixelated amiibo. Where's Pixel Mario and Pixel Luigi? You know that it'll happen.
Oh,
you know
man.
it. You know it. Shake your head all you want. You know it's coming.
Bring it.
Of course, they're going to. They're taking a page out of the Activision playbook. Milk that shit till it's dry.
All right, moving on. Some other information coming out of Nintendo, and that is Splatoon. Splatoon, let's not forget, that's a game that's coming out before the holiday, over the summer, I think, if some of the Facebook posts are to be listened to. But they're talking about that Splatoon is going to do for action shooters what Mario Kart did for racing. At least that's what Reggie Fils-Aimé said, saying, quote, it's aiming to do for action shooters what Mario Kart did for racing. Also saying it's a major new IP for Nintendo. The game is not just about kills. It's supposed to be fun no matter what your skill level is. So we'll see more about, the fun factor when the game is released.
That's going to be a fun game, period. Because I've seen so many videos of that. And yeah, I mean, it's very refreshing to see Nintendo finally bring us something new.
Yeah,
and it just looks insanely fun, though.
I kind of love the idea of, Nintendo kind of realized, oh yeah, like shitloads of people are playing Halo and Destiny. How can we kind of put our own spin on that? And I think that's what you're seeing with this.
Yes, sir.
And I think more importantly with something like Splatoon, I think we talked about on a previous episode, Splatoon is being developed by like a younger team, a greener team at Nintendo. And so this is really a chance for them to say, we're going to do our own thing, and here it is. And I think, wasn't it the same team that did Animal Crossing, which ended up being huge? I want to say.
I want to say yes, but
yeah,
I'm not sure.
So anyway, I'm just excited to see what they put together.
There's your fourth quarter game right there.
Splatoon's supposed to be out sooner than that.
No. Animal Crossing.
I fucking hope so. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all are over it, but
No.
Especially if they can kind of do something new with it, like that's my one wish for Animal Crossing is I really need to see them do something new.
I want Isabelle the Rampage.
You want to see a Splatoon crossover.
I want Isabelle to go postal.
So you want Isabelle as a character in Splatoon, except her paint gun is replaced with an actual gun.
Acid.
No, she
as
gets
long
her,
as
she,
Tom Nook does not get
she
access
gets
to the
her
gun.
revenge through Public Works.
All right.
She'll just build a bench on you.
One thing that might be a bummer for some people is that Splatoon will not have voice chat. It has been confirmed, and rumors are going around about this, but it was confirmed this week. Splatoon will not have voice chat, so you cannot communicate with your teammates online unless, I don't know, you do a Skype thing. I mean, I know a lot of people that when they play the Nintendo stuff, they just have Skype on their mobile phone, and so I don't know, but for whatever reason, they've decided not to implement that.
It's too bad they couldn't tie like voice chat to, I don't know, some sort of parental settings or something that are on the console. I mean, they have that, right?
Yeah,
they can do that. That would be very forward thinking of them.
Yeah, it's not heavily utilized, and I honestly I don't blame Nintendo for the voice chat thing because let's face it, look at what happened with Microsoft when they created the party chat idea. Everyone went bonkers over, oh my god, we could chat with our own people and not have to worry about talking with others. But unfortunately, that's exactly what happened, and now no one hears anybody at all anymore when they play multiplayer because they're in a party. They're in a party chat.
That
actually, I don't know about that.
He raises a good point. Like when I played when I played Destiny, it was all about party chat. You didn't. I mean, I think that's part of why they didn't even put voice chat. And remember, voice chat isn't in Destiny if you randomly connect with people. And I think that was probably half the whole, fuck you factor for some people, right? And much more colorful language coming out of those mouths. And half the factor of people are playing in party mode anyway.
Yep, that's true. And with this being on Nintendo, yeah, the last thing you need is a 10-year-old on Nintendo. You hear it on Halo, Call of Duty, that's fine, but you don't hear parents getting all upset about it. But if they hear it on a Nintendo game,
it'll be on the be on the nightly news. It'll be on Fox 40 tonight. Little kid hears fuck while playing Splatoon. Film at 11.
First time ever.
Who cares? Well, that's why bother paying attention to your news channel if that's the kind of news that they're reporting. I mean, it's like Bob took a shit today. News at 6. It's like, who gives a fuck?
Did he flush? Find out tonight at 7.
People do this stuff all the time. It's like, I don't understand why any of this is news. It's like
America.
they're telling you what they
That's
think
why
is news.
People watch it.
That's America. That's why.
Jamie just has this look of disgust.
It wasn't that. It was just a line from Arthur popped in my head. I think I'll take a bath. I'll alert the media. You all remember that movie, right?
You went there.
Talk about old school. All right.
It's my mom's favorite movie next to Fiddler on the Roof.
I was gonna say.
And she's surprised her daughter's a Jew now. Okay.
I was gonna say, aren't they going to remake Arthur? And then I remembered they did remake Arthur. It's just nobody.
It was
saw it.
awful.
Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Moving on. Speaking of watching movies, Dark Sakura.
Well, I do have something for fans of The Walking Dead, I guess, and who have PlayStations. If you are a PlayStation Vue subscriber, you get AMC, which didn't they used to play all the black and white movies, and then they decided that they were going to be relevant?
Yep. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did actually.
This is supposed to be American movie classics. This is where you used to watch Orson Welles presenting War of the Worlds.
Actually, what happened, Jamie? We got older, and then suddenly movies like Pretty Woman are a classic. And it's like, shit, when did I get old? Or like, you listen to classic rock, and it's like that song by Aerosmith that everybody sung in high school. Living on the edge, you can't. It's like, wait a minute. This is classic rock now? Hold up. I ain't that old. Oops, yes, I am.
Yes, we are.
I wanted to cry when I was in Alabama listening to one of the classic rock stations, and they played Gorillaz.
Goodness.
I wanted to find a possum because it's the South. I wanted to find a possum and kick it. Take this possum. That's for Gorillaz.
Oh my.
No. So anyway, they've got different access packages that are going to come up. It also includes IFC, Sundance, WeTV, and it's supposed to, right now it's only available in New York, Philadelphia, and Chicago. So you get the 3 ones, which is Access, Core, and Elite. Access has 50 different channels. I'm not naming them all. Except they have Food Network, so that's pretty awesome. For $50 a month, and then you get Access.
You can never
Plus
watch enough Chopped. Chopped.
Okay, do you want to know what my porn crack is?
What?
Watching a cooking show while eating.
That's kind of like me, except I like to watch NBC's The Biggest Loser while eating Ben and Jerry's. And then I cry, and I don't know why.
I can't watch that show because I found out what they do to those poor people.
Yeah, it's
I can't
pretty
support
bad.
that show.
I choose to be ignorant.
Do they turn him into meat at the end?
No, that's not how the sausage is made, Loki.
Anyway, the last
had it.
package is going to be like $70 a month, and there's actually a thing about it on Wired if people want to find out the plus and minuses. But AMC will be involved in all of the channels. PlayStation Vue is on PS3 and PS4. You know what? I've never watched Walking Dead. Yeah. I have a story about Walking Dead, though.
Could that be because Walking Dead is on Sunday nights and we kind of do something else on Sunday nights?
I have a story about that, though.
What?
About my mother.
Okay.
I'm going to do my mom voice. I thought that Walking Dead show was going to be kind of stupid, so I said I wasn't going to watch it. And then I was watching something with Michael, her husband, and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. What is it? He's like, Walking Dead. Well, shit. And that's my story that my mom told me while I was in Alabama.
Bravo.
Here's my thing, though. Does AMC kind of needs a new show? I mean, not that. I'm not trying to insult the Walking Dead fans out there, but how much time does your show have left? Because pretty soon everybody's going to be dead. So,
but they're still going to be walking.
No, it's just going to be. It's just going to be what's his face, looking all angry and rednecky, awesome, with a gun, standing on top of a pile of zombies. Go ahead, bring it.
No, because now you'll be able to play him in Silent Hills, assuming that is still happening. And I want E3 to clarify.
Silent Hills.
Oh boy,
I need Konami to clarify some things, please. All right.
It'll be on the gambling machine. So. Sorry.
I don't think I talked about that yet. I talked about it on Bobby's show. I've talked about it here. I was in Reno over the weekend, just on an impromptu trip. Oh, shit.
I was turning them tricks.
Uh-oh.
No, trip.
That's how he got his gambling money.
Guess who's paying for dinner tonight, y'all?
Anyway, wow. So I went up there on an impromptu trip, and I was playing some nerdy machines because I saw like a Jenga machine and I was like, that reminds me of GamerX and playing Jenga. But then I saw a Dungeons and Dragons slot machine and I was like, oh my God, they're coming after nerds. They're trying to get nerds.
Oh my
to
God,
gamble.
old people don't know what this is. Yeah. They're going to think it's the devil.
Except here's the problem, Loki. Dungeons and Dragons was in the 70s, and so there's a lot of people who you would call quote-unquote old people that were our age when Dungeons and Dragons came out. So
I'm talking about really old people. I'm not talking about people that would have been, playing Dungeons and Dragons. People older than that.
Oh, okay. Like people that voted for the governor of Indiana. Like that type of thing.
Oh, boy.
Gotta throw a little shade while I can. All right, anyway.
I didn't say misinformed. I said older.
Bazang.
All right, anyway. So the Dungeons and Dragons machine made by Konami. I didn't even notice that. I tweeted about it, and somebody replied to my tweet saying, Konami frown, and I was like, oh my God, it is a Konami game. So this is what they've let Kojima go to make Dungeons and Dragons slot machines. Yep. I guess there's money to be made there. All right, anyway, I digress. Loki, what else is in the news tonight? I've gone from Walking Dead to gambling.
So, hey, look, Twitch had a security breach and passwords and stuff came out, so they reset your password. And is anyone shocked by this? Major website has a security breach.
Loki, it's the internet. Things I put in the internet should be safe because it's interneted.
Yes, that's correct. That's how the internet works. The good thing, though, is they basically said, hey, you know what? Well, I don't know if it's good. Their quote was, there may have been a little bit of an unauthorized access to some of your Twitch user account information, including the possibility your Twitch username, associated email address, your password, the last IP you logged in from, maybe some limited credit card information, card type, card number expiration, and some of the following, first, last name, phone number, address, date of birth, if you put that stuff in there. But hey, it's a good thing, we don't store the full credit card number. So, but and your passwords were, protected. But
in the cloud probably because Amazon owns it now, so it's in their cloud technology.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. It's all. But your credit card number is all safe in the cloud. Everything's in the cloud. Nobody bad will get in the cloud. Well,
but they reset it, so you have to go do that. My thing is I forget what the hell my Twitch name is on there anyways because I use it so frequently. I'm Rob Roberts on Twitch. That's easy enough to find. But I was going to say, they made you reset your password, so there's that whole thing. But this is just your weekly reminder at this point, because it seems like we have one of these stories every week these days. But this is your weekly reminder: use different passwords on different websites. Use an app like what it was, 1Password, or some of those, if that helps you out at all. So. And two-step authentication would be nice.
Two-step authentication, always smart.
Which I don't think they have.
No, I don't think
Twitch?
they do.
Not yet, but maybe that'll come soon. Who knows? So I might need it. All right. Well, moving on, talking a little something different here about region locking. We talk a lot about region locking on OLR, and basically it all boils down to, why do they still do this shit? It is on the internet. I can download it from anywhere. I want people from Finland to download my demo. Is there a reason to region lock Crumple? Gabriel, is there a reason you might want to region lock that?
No.
Yeah.
It's not like there's any text or anything like that other than the title, where it's like, what is it saying? I don't know what it's saying. So, but no.
Complex and antiquated rights music laws that would maybe prevent that. You don't have any.
I wrote the music for it,
but
let it go around the world. I beg it to.
That someone's not going to copyright strike that. For some reason. My thought, though, is that they do have a lot of different, especially when you get on a console or something where you have to have, submit your game to these different organizations that do the ratings and stuff like that. It costs money to do that. I don't know I don't know how that works as far as if we just made it region free, because obviously it's worked for Sony, for the last few generations. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PSP, and Vita. So they haven't really had any problems there. So I don't know how to get around it.
this could be something that could affect not just, we're talking about games, but it goes even beyond that. And this could be very interesting if this pans out. The European Commission apparently this week said they want to remove regional limits on digital goods. And one of the things they're looking at that's specifically cited is watching U.S. Netflix from the United Kingdom. Because, a lot of other countries want the U.S. Netflix because we have more stuff. Granted, I want to say sometimes, though, it's the other way around, too. Like, they have things we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Some of the BBC shows, I know that, though, the BBC website used to have a lot of their content region locked, and they unlocked all of it. So for TV shows that are on, TV over there.
Yeah. It's just sad that it takes Europeans, once again, not Americans, Europeans. It takes them to start this.
I don't care where it starts as long as it.
But it's like we should be doing this. It's
Yeah.
like we talk all this smack about ourselves, our egotistical way, the country's egotistical ways, and yet we hear the Europeans beating us again. So
I actually had someone I went to high school with unfriend me because I sent her the link about how many things we are no longer number one in.
well,
But I have my big foam finger. This is we're number one.
But is there such thing as like Japanese television Netflix? Because I want that.
I think there isn't. I think Korea does though. I think Korea has something like
So
that.
I want like Takashi's Castle.
I just-
all the episodes.
I just want the J drama channel.
Well, anyway, it might start in Europe. And again, this is just a new strategy that's being outlined called the digital single market. This will prevent companies from geo-blocking online services when it's not truly necessary. Now, see, that's a gray term to me, and that's what's going to take a while to figure out what is necessary. But the type of arbitrary limit would not be able to exist in a single European Union-wide digital marketplace. So more information supposedly coming in May when the full strategy is due. But yeah, you would not get locked out. You could watch French Netflix while you're in Germany, whatever. That is all going to be the European Union. And now keep in mind, because it's the European Union, that isn't necessarily going to have an impact on us in America. But again, if we start hearing about all the good shit they have over there, one thing Americans are really good at is complaining. So we're going to start complaining to Netflix in droves. Well, I can't have it.
You raised my
There's
prices.
a fly in my soup.
You raised my prices. Give me European content. Yeah.
So that is one. But we are number one in complaining. I don't think anybody's going to dispute me there.
Nope.
All right. Anyhow, just an interesting statistic that goes along with that might explain why this is happening, by the way. 9% of console games sold digitally in 2014. 58% of PC games sold digitally in 2014. Now, that's Germany, and that's the second biggest video game market after, the UK. But you got to think those numbers probably aren't drastically different here in the U.S.
I don't imagine so.
Especially when you see how the PC shelf space is shrinking at a place like GameStop. I would wonder if it's higher here.
And how many people like Loki over here with how many games on his Steam account alone?
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw that yesterday when we were doing our game jam. One of my guys, Nicholas, he pulled up his Steam account. And I swore I saw probably 200 plus games. I'm like, have you played all of these? Like, nope.
I'm embarrassed to bring mine up. I would not want to show. I'm not going to show you. If you ask me, I'm going to say no. Some things are private, and you shouldn't be asked about. My Steam library is one of them.
My PlayStation Network account's starting to get like that too now.
It's getting pretty with the crazy sales they're doing too. It's something else. All right. Anyhow, Dark Sakura, what do you have for us?
Well, we haven't really given our friends in the UK, except for just now, of course. In the past, normally the UK was sort of my big thing. There is a study out now for about UK children and what they're doing that makes them pretty lazy. UK children are spending 6 hours a day in front of a screen on average. And this isn't necessarily just like TV, but it includes just TV, playing video games, using a mobile device, a personal computer, or a tablet. And this was based off of a survey of 2,000 children between 5 and 16. It's called the Connected Kids Report. So basically, it's actually teenage girls are spending about 7.5 hours watching screens compared with 3.5 hours of TV viewing in 1995. And boys spend longer times, up to 8 hours in front of screens. So they clearly don't work in a call center. And then love video games, where we spend 12 hours in front of a screen. But
Only?
Jeez.
No, seriously. But basically, the big thing...
one of these days, Dark Soccer, somebody's going to do something crazy, like create this headset where you just strap the screen right in front of your space, and the screen moves with you everywhere
Fox
you go.
News at 6. VR headsets will make you blind because the screen's in front.
No, it's going to be the game like in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
They're going to play a clip of some like old woman or whatever from like that, like a long time ago. If you sit so close to the screen, you go blind. There's my proof right there. It's going to make people blind.
And then it's going to end.
Anyway.
Thanks, Obama.
But we digress.
Anyway, the big thing is that they're saying that TV is actually less important to children who are using their DVR services more, and they pay for Netflix and YouTube. They watch that much more than actual television, than broadcast television. And another thing that was reported to the BBC is that the internet has become basically their biggest source of information. Now, I will pause this in saying that I went over
to like the newspaper.
Well,
I went over to my friend Becky's house last night to find that Julian plays an RPG, an MMORPG, made for kids
I didn't even know that was
called
a thing.
Pirate 101.
Really?
And he's talking about, I need to do this or else my damage will decrease. And I'm like, blink, blink, you're going to be playing WoW before too long. But I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, when I was 7, I was playing, games in the 80s on my Nintendo. Same diff.
Same thing.
Actually, no, when I was 7, I was playing the ColecoVision.
And I was getting yelled at by my mother, Rob, you're sitting too close to the TV, Rob. But I'm like, that's the only way I'm going to actually be able to shoot the ducks is to get right in front of the damn TV.
Oh, no. My mom was like, you're too close to the TV. What? Can you not see it? And then, 3 years later, I get glasses. Because I'm nearsighted. It was like, well, gee, Mom, maybe that should have been your first clue.
All right, let's travel around the world and check out some release dates of some games ruining vision near you. First in America, Loki.
Yeah, so now we have one of the first expansions for Sims 4. Sims 4, get back to work!
I don't want
on
to.
PC. Story of Seasons on 3DS. On PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, they're kind of doing a bundle from Square Enix. So you've got Just Cause, Sleeping Dogs, and Tomb Raider bundled together for $29.99, and that's the Ultimate Action Triple Pack because they gotta sell off some of those old discs. Toukiden Kiwami on Vita. Then we've got MLB 15, the show, on Vita, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4, as well as the MLB The Show 10th Anniversary Edition on PlayStation 4 as well. Also the Ultimate Stealth Pack, which is another compilation by Square Enix, including Thief, Hitman, and Deus Ex. And then we've got RBI Baseball 15 on PC. What else we have here? Lots of baseball. It's all being released at the same time. Let's see. Oh, that'd be it, actually. We end with baseball.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's travel over to Japan, and I'm going to start off with a whopper here because on April 2nd, Loki, listen up. Earth Defense Forces 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair, comes out in Japan on April 2nd on the PlayStation 4.
Do not say that.
Are
That
you-
is one of my... I love that
You
game.
two should be besties because
That's-
he talks about that all the time, Earth Defense Force.
I even got Briana into that game. She was, EDF, even a text message. Yeah, just incredible. Oh my god! I saw
might
the
have
trailer
to-
for. Wait, is that only for PlayStation?
That is on PlayStation 4, at least in Japan. Remember, I'm reading Japanese release dates. So
Gotcha.
that's coming out in Japan. But PS4 region free, right? Or no?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Uh-oh.
Well,
Oh, boy.
I was going to get a PS4 today, and I didn't. I had to change my mind.
They'll eventually release it over here. It's just a
No,
matter of
I
time.
can't wait. No, it's Earth Defense Force. I will import that game.
I understand.
Lego Batman 3 also seeing a release in Japan this week. I'm going to check the Xbox One for you, but I don't see...
No, that was only on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I don't see Earth Defense Force there. I do see Dark Souls 2 on April 9th, but that's on the Xbox One.
But that Earth Defense Force game is just an upgrade of 2048 or whatever the last one was that they had come out.
Yep, 2025.
2025. Well, close enough. So I mean, that's good, but I really wanted just a new Earth Defense Force game.
Well, maybe you will. Maybe you will. On the PlayStation 3 in Japan this week, Dai 3G Super Robot Taisen Z Tengoku Hen comes out this week from Bandai Namco, who
That's
makes,
a series that will never die.
I was going to say,
makes those games all the time. All the time. On the Wii U this week, we have Lego Batman 3 on the Wii U, as well as Rodea the Sky Soldier comes out on the Wii U this week.
Ooh.
And on the handheld systems this week, on the Vita, we have that same Dai 3G Super Robot Tyson. And we also have Norn 9, Norn plus Nonette Last Era. Comes out on the Vita this week. And lastly but not leastly, on the 3DS this week, that Lego Batman game is out there as well. Some new cover plates, just to rub it in a little bit, which you will not be seeing ever in the States because they won't release that little 3DS here. But if you're in Japan, you can get some Zelda and Xenoblade faceplates for your new 3DS. Xenoblade also getting its Japanese release this week on April the 2nd. That's kind of a big deal. Also, Terraformars Akaki Hoshi no Gekitu comes out. And one more from Capcom.
That was
here.
impressive, by the way, dude.
What's that?
That was impressive. I was like, how you read that? That was good.
Bless your heart. After all these years, it's finally happened. Somebody has complimented my Japanese. I just need a moment. I'd like to thank
Are you
God.
feeling the clumped?
A little bit. Gaia Kuten Saiben 5 also gets a price reduction.
You know that is right.
Actually, I don't.
Ace Attorney.
Is it? Oh, it is.
No kidding.
Phoenix Wright. There it is.
Ooh.
So that gets a little price reduction if you need to catch up on that in Japan this week. There you go. That's it for Japan. How about the UK, Dark Sakura?
On the 30th, as I mentioned last week, Bloodsports.tv on PC. 31st, Neverwinter for Xbox One. April 1st, Pool Nation FX. Let me go to actual official April now. On the 2nd, we have Xenoblade Chronicles for 3DS. On the 3rd, Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin on damn near everything. And that's it.
All right. Just a couple more stories for you guys, and then the classic game of the week. We're going to run through these quickly for time, Loki.
I wasn't looking up. Oh, there it is. Ooh, $59.99. That's not too bad.
Loki, news.
Sorry, distracted. So anyways, this is pretty cool if you live in Russia. You can actually play Halo Online, much like they did Call of Duty Online. Now they have an online-only version of Halo where you can play multiplayer games, and it's free to play. That's pretty awesome. It is running on a modified version of the Halo 3 engine, and I guess it's supposed to take place on a secret UNSC space installation called Anvil. Looks pretty awesome. Too bad they'll never ever come over here.
I would hope maybe it's being tested and maybe we could see it here.
No.
Why did they pick Russia, though?
No.
That's what I don't understand.
The same thing happened with Call of Duty Online. That never came out over here either, and that's in
Yes,
China.
that's true. And like Civilization Online's in China only.
I
and
tried
not
playing
really
Call of Duty Online.
Did you?
Oh.
It's awesome because it was all the like Call of Duty 1 and 2 maps with the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, or I'm sorry, the Modern Warfare 1 and 2 maps with the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 engine and weapons. So I was like, ooh.
So is Halo like a super big deal in Russia and we're just not aware? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because like we know StarCraft in like Korea.
Sure.
I mean, we know how they roll. But I mean, for goodness sake, they release Dynasty Warriors online everywhere. Why the hell couldn't they do Halo online? I mean,
I'm sure if it's free to play, someone will find a way to be able to get around it where you can play
Patch it,
over
yeah.
here. I mean, you won't be able to patch it. You'll just play it in Russian. I mean, that's how it worked with
Phantasy Star Online 2. A lot of people
Yeah.
did that because you weren't supposed to
True
play that
that.
outside Japan.
true that.
Hey, wouldn't that be awesome if they brought that to the Wii U? That might be pretty nice.
You know, why you gotta fucking tease me? Like, why do you gotta do that? You know that's a soft spot for me. Why are you doing that? All right.
Because I know they'll never do it.
Maybe I know I have some Russian people on Twitter, at least. I don't know if they still listen to OLR actively, but if you're out there and you're in Russia, how's the Halo scene out there? Why might any insight as to why you're getting this and the rest of us aren't? Sniff. Anyhow, speaking of Xbox-related things, the April system update, you can actually check that out right now. Some of the previews going on for that if you're in the preview program, including voice messages, finally, on the Xbox One. We talked a little bit about that last week, but voice messages making their way in the April update. Dedicated servers for party chat. So to kind of follow up earlier that more and more people are using nothing but party chat. Yeah, there are going to be some dedicated chat relay servers that will kind of make them run more reliably. And the What's On area, which highlights videos, movies, TV shows, and game broadcasts, they are doing some enhancements and just generally trying to make the algorithm in that work a little better. So that's all what you have to look forward to in the April update. An answer of sorts to the 2.5 update that hit the PlayStation this past week. So, all right. But you know what? Let's go back to a much more classic time in gaming.
We didn't have faceplates.
Yeah, you didn't have faceplates. You didn't have, like, updates to your console. What is that? Like,
they just kept shrinking.
Or maybe you would get like a top loader NES that you'd never be able to find.
Or your Genesis would shrink.
It's the classic game of the week. And every week, Dark Soccer's going to step into the vault and find a game that she thinks, hey, you kids and your
room in the vault.
Your Halos Onlines and your Earth Defense Force 41s and all this stuff.
Don't mock that game, dude. That's EDF, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, but we got to pay our respects to a classic game first. So, Dark Soccer, what is the classic game of the week this week?
I will preface this saying that I went specifically looking for a treasure game because you cannot go wrong with a treasure game. So today's classic game of the week came out on the Genesis/Mega Drive, and it is called Dynamite Headdy.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
It came out in 1994 when I was a senior in high school.
There it is.
And it was on Mega Drive and Genesis, Game Gear, and there was a Master System version. I'm not sure if it was just one of those Brazilian releases because they still love the Master System in Brazil. There was a 32X port planned, but who likes the 32X? Nobody who owned one did.
I do. Oh, wait.
Well, I've got a couple of 32Xs, and I pretty much just play Calibri on it. Or Space Harrier.
Nice.
Because Space Harrier is my third favorite game.
Good choice.
Anyway, it has been ported onto the Wii's Virtual Console in 2007 and was included in the Gunstar Heroes Treasure Box collection for PS2 and the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection for Xbox 360 and PS3. So, this is a game where you basically play a puppet who can take off his head and beat people with it. I'll read the official thing. Hetty arrives in a place called Northtown to see that this evil puppet king has been attacking people and turning all the peaceful toys into evil minions. And so he got captured, got rejected, and he's like, well, screw you. I'm going to stop this. And so he did. So basically, he's a puppet with a detachable head, and his head can be fired in 8 different directions. And he can use it to smack obstacles as well as reach items. He can hold on to a thing called a hangman that lets him pull himself up platforms. So he's sort of like Bionic Commando with his head.
Yeah, I like that.
You also can find a case walking around called Head Case that can give his head special damage. So basically, this is a game where you get head. Anyway. So he basically can get like homing stars, or he can suck things off the screen, and he has different heads that have invulnerability or shrinking, and all kinds of other special things can go on. It even has a side-scrolling shooter stage so that Hetty can charge and use his different head types. You know, I have to pause for a second because every time I think of Head, I think of the Monkees movie Head.
Wow.
And they were quoted saying that if ever they did a sequel, they wanted it be from the people who gave you Head. I love the Monkees. Anyway, so basically you have all kinds of different scenes, different locations. You fight a different boss, and then you have to collect all these different pieces from defeating Keymasters. Are you the Keymaster? Are you the Gatekeeper? Anyway. And, you know, basically just make it through the game. You also get the Liberty Head. Head.
Oh, my goodness.
Where you enter a bonus stage with your head and shoot basketballs into hoops. So you get different codes, and when you compile the code at the end, you get a bonus stage. So you've got different characters in the games. You have Hetty. You have a girl with floating hands called Heather, although her other name is Fingy.
Does she throw her fingers around?
No, she just uses her fingers for the Keymaster.
I see.
Oh my
You have Dark
God.
Demon or King Dark Demon. You have Trouble Bruin or Mariyama. You have Headcase, also known as Mokun. I'm sure it's gonna sound what you can figure out what the Japanese ones are by now. You have Hangman or Fukun. You have Bo or Yakun. You have Bino. You have Mad Dog / Bounty Bounty. That's actually a cooler name. Wooden Dresser or Jacqueline Dressy, as she's called. Spinderella, who wasn't she the DJ for?
Yes, she
Salt and
was.
Pepper.
Salt and Pepper.
The other name is
Spinderella was in this game. Awesome.
the other name is Motorhand. It would be funny if it was Motorhead, because then
Yeah.
I just got to say in our chat room real quick over at live.vognetwork.com, Akuma JP is saying, "Is this a horror game?" And I'm like, "No, because
treasure.
When you're running around giving random people head, that's not horror."
Unless it's from someone you didn't want to give head.
Well, Akuma JP says, "Oh, so this is a horror porn game," and I'm like. And that caused me to think about what are some horror porn games that I've played.
This is the horrifying one. Is the character named Babyface, also known as Mitsuru, was the fourth Keymaster, which is a baby head on a pole.
Wow.
This game
And he
has
gets older
issues.
every time he goes. It's treasure. You also have Gatekeeper. You have Nasty Gatekeeper. Nasty. You have Twin Freaks / Reaverface. And Smiley. So, Dynamite Heady. It was a really good game. I mean, it's just Treasure can hardly do anything wrong, pretty much. When it came out, EGM gave it a 7.6 out of 10. Famitsu gave it an 8 out of 10, which is not bad for Famitsu back in the day. It's just it was a really good game, and that's all I have to say. Treasure, or as my friend says it, Treasure.
Treasure. There it is, your classic game of the week, Dynamite Heady. The prequel to Dynamite Rave. Just kidding. It's just Dynamite Heady.
Rob.
What?
Fingy.
Going to our chat room where they're talking about horror porn. Bobby Blackwell saying Phantasmagoria.
I was the first one I thought about, but Night Trap.
I was going to say Night Trap.
That's if we're gonna take it there with full FMV. Night Trap. That was more than anything else. But God bless Phantasmagoria. Good call. That was a great game.
All right.
I named that last week as a game I thought had been really dated, though.
Yeah.
Phantasmagoria.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
game, though.
We're going to take a break, though. There's plenty more Orange Lounge Radio to come, believe it or not. We're going to really run through Part B when you guys come back with some rapid-fire news, the Fuku question of the week, some news about something Loki has raved about on this show time and time again, going to the next level, pun intended. And we're going to talk about that when we come back with Part B of Orange Lounge Radio. Also, your emails, the FUs of the week, and your phone calls if you want to give us a call at 1-877-GAME-OLR. We'll get to all that when we come back with more of Orange Lounge Radio right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio, live on this March the 29th of 2015 with the 592nd episode of our show already in progress. I will say, though, here, Gabriel and Briana are friends from the Sacramento IGDA. They're actually about ready to head out, take care of some other business before it's back to the work week tomorrow.
Oh, God.
But I want to thank you guys so much for coming to the show tonight.
Thank you,
for supporting.
seriously.
You guys have been so great in promoting us and VOG, and I'm glad we can do the same for you guys, and we so look forward to the event. Saturday after this coming one's coming right around the corner. Very excited.
Yep.
excited.
And it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have this happen, so thank you.
Thank you for broadcasting live at our event, too, because everybody put a lot of heart into this, and we just want to share that with your listeners, so thank you.
We're happy to do it. We want to share it. We want to get more indie stuff out there, and people, you don't know about it unless you hear about it, so we're happy to do that. Real quick, though, before you guys take off, any last plugs to give before we get into our forum feedback this week? Anything you guys want to plug on your way out of here?
Well, I mean, again, like we talked about earlier, just check the Crumple demo game out. Check it out. Hit us up. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I mean, right now that's it. And the Indie Arcade event. indiearcade.org. If you want to know the website, if you haven't bought tickets yet, go there. That's where all the information is at. So indiearcade.org is where you can go. You can buy your tickets, get more information on who's going to be talking, playing, all that good stuff.
Awesome, because we didn't even talk about like the symphony and the other music performers got showing up.
Yeah, I mean we've got the performers. Yeah, we talked about the speakers, but the performers: Reno Video Game Symphony returning for their second time, and then Petriform, who performed at Rockage, will be performing at our event as well. Bree, anything? Okay, there you go.
Everything that we didn't mention on the show can be found on Twitter also at Sac Indie Arcade.
Awesome. And again, we want to encourage people beyond Sacramento to check out what's brewing here in the Bay Area's neighbor, Silicon Valley's neighbor. We're making a name for ourselves as well here.
We welcome everybody with open arms.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to you guys in this final crunch time before your event, and I so look forward to it. So thanks for being on the show tonight. And it sounds like this will be the first of many appearances by these guys on our show. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I want that review of Earth Defense Force, Gabriel.
Yes.
Got to hear it.
I may buy that.
Be careful what you wish for.
I wish. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here, and especially live. Not many people get to be here live in studio, but only in Sacramento or where we're at. We're not in San Jose or LA. All right. Well, I'm going to get into some forum feedback tonight and get into that segment here. And, of course, you guys can participate in our forums over at vognetwork.com. You just click on forums. And I do have one topic to talk about tonight that popped up on the forums this week, and it's one of those that was user created. I didn't even do this, but good old SSJ 100 Matt actually made this topic on our forums this week, and it's about the topic we got into last week of Nintendo mobile games. So SSJ 100 Matt last week had mentioned, going off the big news last week, that Nintendo is going to be making games out of their popular franchises for mobile, smartphone, tablet, smart device. This was a big move by Nintendo since they've been very reluctant to allow their franchises to be on platforms other than their own. Many people, including investors, felt it was about time for the company to venture into the mobile market, while some were hesitant. Regardless, Nintendo's franchises will be reaching a far broader audience than it has before. But this made me wonder, what type of games and what Nintendo franchises could we see ourselves playing on these devices? So SSJ 100 Matt goes over some of his picks, including Pokemon Shuffle, which we talked about, before would make a good mobile game most likely. Advance Wars, which I brought up on the show last week, but certainly SSJ 100 Matt says, I've been waiting a long time for this franchise to make a comeback, and I think the mobile platform is a perfect place for it. This game just screams a very fun tablet experience and even allows some possible multiplayer aspects. And then WarioWare. I thought that was a really good suggestion, WarioWare. While it may be a little gimmicky, I think WarioWare would be great on the mobile platform. Utilizing the gyroscopics, I think this could be a very fun and probably public embarrassing experience. I can also see some fun pass-and-play multiplayer mechanics. I think WarioWare is a great suggestion.
Well, considering that it was at one time on the Game Boy Advance, I could see them doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what happens. And then with the touch screens and all that, it could really play into that a lot. Tiger Claw saying, these will make excellent mobile games. Mobile games don't really give you the AAA experience you get from the Wii U or the 3DS. I could see them more as companion games to the bigger ones. Flacco Jones suggested, since Hearthstone is a mobile game that I think is amazing and does mobile gaming right by not forcing players to nickel and dime themselves to death in order to have fun, I sort of hope they do a Hearthstone-style trading card game with Nintendo's All-Stars and their famous abilities featured on the cards. Isn't there a Pokemon trading card game? I mean, that would be prime to convert over, but maybe, I can also see maybe they don't want to do that because, that makes their bread and butter in the old-fashioned way, and maybe they don't want to get into that. I don't know. But anyway, that topic on our forums, that was some of the responses there. So check that out over at vognetwork.com/forums. And if you have a topic, especially follow-up, that you want us to talk about on the show with your perspective, be sure to post it. We like to read that stuff here on the show. All right. Well, we're going to move on with some rapid-fire news and travel around the world of gaming quickly and see what else is going on that we just don't have time to fit in anywhere else. Loki.
So Microsoft is upping the amount of free games they're going to give you with their Games with Gold program starting in April. Hopefully this is going to continue on beyond April, but for April, they're going to start off with, I I guess for Xbox One, you'll be able to download Pool Nation FX and Child of Light. On the Xbox 360, you can get 2 games for the first half of the month and 2 games for the second half. So for the first half, between April 1st and the 15th, you can get Gears of War Judgment and Terraria. And during the latter half of the month, you get Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Army of 2 The Devil's Cartel. That's a pretty good offering, I'd say, and those are all really recent games. And then, let's see here. Unfortunately, there's yet another delay. Another big AAA game. Batman Arkham Knight has been delayed now. The word is that the new date that's supposed to be released is June 23rd, 2015. And
hey, it's our show's birthday.
Yay!
Same date as Heaven's Word for Final Fantasy 14. I am screwed that week.
So, obviously it's to, polish up the game a little bit more. But I see this seems to be like a trend nowadays, with a lot of, AAA games getting pushed back. Thankfully, this isn't into 2016 yet. So, I don't know. I'm kind of glad to see, though, that they're at least giving themselves more time as opposed to putting out a game that's really buggy. What'll really suck is if they give themselves more time and put out a game that's really buggy. So hopefully that's not the case. Last but not least, there's a brand new video out there for Mortal Kombat X that's confirming Liu Kang as a playable character in the game. And they've there was another player I want to say that they showed off too, like some sort of cowboy-looking guy as well. And of course, Mortal Kombat X is only a few weeks away, actually.
Yeah, it's really close.
So, at least on PlayStation 4 and PC and Xbox One.
Awesome. All right, I just want to say quickly in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, I was getting some feedback there on the Nintendo Mobile that I was talking about with the forum, and Fifth Dream in our chat poking out and saying Pokemon card game is mobile already. I didn't realize that, and gives the link to where the Pokemon trading card game online is on the App Store and iTunes. I did not realize that. I stand corrected. Well, there you go. Akuma JP suggesting, I don't think you'll see existing titles to mobile yet, but you'll see new ideas and titles from Nintendo to mobile. See, I'm sort of with you there, but I sort of feel like we'll see franchises move in a new mobile direction. Like, they're going to put Mario's face on a mobile game somewhere. They have
What about
to.
like all those mini games that they had for like Mario Kart or Mario 64 on the DS? Remember how they used to have all those it Yoshi mini games or whatever?
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Like that.
Maybe expanding on some of these other ideas. Who knows? All right, anyhow, moving on to some other, I just want to get those comments out there. I thought they were all really good. Anyway, some interesting updates this week on VR, and, as this is an expanding thing, as more and more people are trying out things like Gear VR and Oculus Rift and so forth, the reality sets in that some people don't respond too well in terms of getting sick from playing these devices. So, of course, they're trying to figure out how can we make it so that people, who are very, very sensitive to this sort of stuff don't get sick with this. So apparently one idea to help is creating a virtual nose. This is from a study that was done at Purdue University. Assistant Professor Dave Whittinghill studied simulator sickness, and one of the research assistants suggested putting in a nose. And so by putting in the nose, and participants who were given this virtual nose, they didn't even report noticing it until it was pointed out. So apparently having like that nose in there, because you kind of see it, I guess. I don't know how often I really look at my nose, but I guess you're kind of aware it's there. So kind of having that in the simulator vision makes people a little less sick.
Follow your nose!
Just follow your nose. Anyway, obviously, everybody responds differently to different situations, and ultimately people are going to have to find what works best for them. But I thought that was a pretty creative solution to trying and help people deal with some of the motion sickness that can come with that.
Have that with like the character creators in the game. So if you give a character like a giant nose, it just takes up a large portion.
You trying to say something about my nose, Loki?
No, I'm trying to say if you're making characters with large noses.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough. Anyhow, Facebook going to be bringing 360-degree videos to Oculus and the newsfeed.
That's awesome. I'm sure they'll autoplay without any sort of way to stop that.
I knew you'd have something smart-ass to say. Facebook had a big update meeting this week, and of course, now that Facebook owns Oculus, they talked a little bit about that. And yes, they do plan to bring spherical video content to its VR headset. Now, I think a lot of people, at least I do, I look at this and go, okay, that's the direction I expected Facebook to move in, is that it's not going to just be about games. And even some of the demos I've talked about that I've seen on Oculus before have nothing to do necessarily with games. Like when Bobby was showing me that Gear VR when I was at PAX East, I didn't play a single game on it. It had games, but the stuff I just happened to look at was, like a Paul McCartney concert where I was there. Like, it's like I'm on stage with Paul McCartney, and a Cirque du Soleil type experience. And I could really see that too, putting those types of experiences on Facebook. So that's pretty neat. And then they were actually showing off some of these 360-degree video viewing experiences at the Facebook Dev Conference.
Are you going to be able to do lines in, like, say, a Scarface type game with your virtual nose?
Stop it. Actually, Bobby in our chat room over at live.hognetwork.com says it's less about having a nose and more about having a frame of reference that your eyes can focus on that doesn't move. Yeah, and I was thinking, like, it's not so – it's just in real life your nose happens to be there, so you kind of have that in real life where you may not have that when you're playing the Oculus or whatever VR headset you're using, and maybe that's the trick for some people. I don't know. But anyhow so yeah, that could be very interesting. I mean, you think about what we're doing today. It's all about what, like Snapchat and pictures on Twitter and little videos on Facebook. Imagine that you're gonna one day strap on the Gear VR, the Oculus Rift, and you're gonna look at, here's some highlights that your friends took from around the world, and you're gonna experience that right now in full 3D motion. I kind of feel like that's what we're going to start to see. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. By the way, also some little hints being dropped that the Oculus Rift could be available this year. However, Facebook quickly clarifying the comments, saying that they're not trying to announce any shipping date regarding the Oculus Rift. They were just intending to say that PC hardware will be available this year that can create the VR experiences that they were speaking about. But whether it's this year or next year, it's really starting to heat up a little bit. And I kind of think it still will be a little quiet this year. I mean, VR is already out there. The Gear VR you can get at Best Buy, right? So the VR experience is starting to get out there. I think it's just going to really start to ramp up. I feel like, next year, between what we're going to see on PlayStation 4, probably more and more of this Oculus ramping up. I really think 2016 is going to be a big year for all this. Anyway, lastly, let's throw it back with some talk about EverQuest. And I didn't realize EverQuest did this, but EverQuest has been around for a long time. And EverQuest has been, to kind of keep people interested in what's going on over there. And a lot of people who've been playing an MMO for a very long time, because I saw this all the time in World of Warcraft, was, man, what if we could play this game vanilla? What if we could play this game the way it was intended, the way it was meant to be in the beginning before all this other stuff? Well, EverQuest doing some polls and bringing their users exactly something like that. And they're actually looking at and polling the users right now about doing a new progression server. So they're going to start the server as normal, but at a specific point, all progression would cease and the server would just stay at that point. And so, it'll talk about, they go on to talk about like how long some of the stuff will be locked. So like Kunark would be the thing, the Ruins of Kunark would be open for 6.75 months. And then Velius for 3.75 months, and so on and so on. All these expansions would slowly unlock, which would allow people to kind of appreciate, the earlier days. So they're doing voting on more of like specifically the time frames and when the expansion should be unlocked and so forth. And this, again, just has me kind of thinking about World of Warcraft, which is a game I have a little more experience with. I hear people saying in WoW all the time, oh, I want to see that vanilla server. I want to see what that was like. And then sure enough, when they did that Molten Core raid recently where you could actually have a 40-man team in Molten Raid, everybody was like, this is fucking terrible. Trying to run through with 40 people, this is awful. Yet there's still some people clamoring for that vanilla experience. So that's something they're doing over in EverQuest, at least. Kind of interesting. Anyway, Dark Soccer, what do you have for us?
I'm trying not to get tangled over here. Well, there is a, this is funny. The folks that are behind Lords of the Fallen, they offered Hideo Kojima a job. over Twitter. It goes, Dear Mr. @Hideo_Kojima_EN. In case you are currently searching, we have an open position as head of game design at Deck 13. Please get in touch. Yeah, he's probably not going to go for that. So let's move forward to Tekken news. I love Tekken, all the things practically. So coming up in Tekken 7, we are getting Jin. Yay, I love Jin. Devil Jin. Yay, I love Devil Jin too. And a new character named Josie, who is a Philippines-born model and martial artist who is pretty cheerful. It's also designed by the same person who gave us Bayonetta. So that's good. And then last but not least, this is actually kind of old. Okay. So yes, Jaws of Hakkon was already been released on Xbox One and PC, but the other versions are going to be released much later. Those are going to be coming out for PS4 and Xbox on, I think, later this week.
The Xbox One, I think, came out this week, but yeah, PS4.
Yeah, it came out days ago.
Yeah,
but I don't know if they put the date for the PS4 one yet.
I want to say I read somewhere that they couldn't tell us what it is because of some type of contractual agreement. Which
what the release date is?
Yeah, what the release date is for the PS4. Like they can't tell us what it is, and I'm
going to tell you all right now. It's pretty and doesn't do much. You get a little bit of lore, but it's just pretty.
Interesting. All right, well then I guess I'm not missing out so much because
you get a lot of Scout Harding. I love Scout Harding.
Oh, there you go. All right.
I wish she was romanceable. I love her little face.
All right, let's go to the Fugle question of the week. Every week here on the show, we go to Facebook and Google Plus, and we ask a question of our communities. And when you slam Facebook and Google Plus together, you get Fugle.
It's Radio Control.
Well, this week in the Fugle question of the week, we asked a little bit about clubs and organizations because since our guests tonight were from the Sacramento IGDA, I don't expect that everybody that listens to this show is a member of the IGDA, but I figure maybe a few of you have belonged to some type of club or association at some point, so we wanted to get more information about that. Tell us about it. Have you ever been the member of a club or association that relates to gaming, like an official fan club or an unofficial group dedicated to playing, creating one or multiple games? Tell us about it. So over on Facebook, we got Ragenator who said, sorta. During my senior year of high school, a few people, including myself, regularly got together before school during lunch periods and after to play Magic the Gathering. Nerd. Just kidding. I did the same thing. Granted, at the time, it wasn't a club officially sanctioned by the school and didn't have a name, but it was the seed that eventually became an official club based on what I was told by others that graduated after me. Oh, wow. That's always weird to me to hear about, like, that something really awesome existed at your high school after you left. Like, my high school finally started offering Japanese after I left. Anyway, I guess that always happens. Princess Irene, our good pal Princess Irene, actually answered the question here on Facebook this week and said, I used to run with a crew called the Sacramentals back in the early 2000s. We played a bunch of Bomani games at Roosevelt Golfland and ate at Brookfields a lot. Maybe you've heard of them? They're pretty legendary in these parts. I heard they were big fucking nerds.
You know what? I remember trying to actually register that domain to find that some Catholic group already had it. And I was so mad.
All right. Anyhow, Serping Slurpee responded and said, occasionally I attend board game get-togethers. Every week between 20 to 30 people get together at Panera, then Denny's after Panera closes, and game out. Most attendees are in their late 20s to early 30s, though some are older and predominantly female. It's great fun. Andy R. said, nope, was part of an anime club in college, though, and a lot of our meetings consisted of playing games. I did hang out with the remnants of our college's Bomani club a lot when they were basically disbanded by the time I met them due to bullshittery. I have to remember to use that term more often in my life. Bullshittery. We completely dominated the school's rock band tournament both years they held it. Bryce replied and simply said, no, crying face. Let's start one. Bryce, you need to start one. Deekman replied and said, "Does Club Nintendo count?" Well, if you helped to run it, maybe. No, Club Nintendo, I guess. Of course, Club Nintendo counts. Somebody has to say that. Dark Tetsuya said, Irene stole my answer, but Wednesdays back in the day with the Sac Bomani crew were fucking epic. Trying to get all of the content unlocked on Max 2 by playing the crap out of it. Good times. That was good times. Remember when the whole community had to come together to get stuff in the games? That was always a good time. Anyway, last but not least, and I love this answer over on Google Plus from Prince Peach Fuzz. One of my other favorite names here. Prince Peach Fuzz responded and said, "Does the OL Army count? If so, yes." Gold star for you, sir. Yes, it counts. You're all a part of the club now. So even the poor guy on Facebook who felt left out, you can be a part of the OL Army. We're a club, and I'm the president, and Jamie is the overlord because she has to outrank me.
I was just going to say I am the queen bee.
And Loki, clearly the court jester. Prince of Bacon.
No. Loki is he's our Cullen.
Cullen? From Dragon Age.
He's our Cullen.
What does Cullen do?
He's the commander of the Inquisition's forces.
I see. Do you really want to put him in charge of the actual army?
No.
Loki, what would you...
But we could put a big hat on him.
Fair enough. He's the Pope.
He's the Pope. He's the Pope of the OL Army.
He's the OL Army Pope. He's the spiritual figurehead.
A big hat. He can be the Admiral.
There you go.
You're the Admiral.
I like that.
Admiral Loki.
Loki just has this look on his face of like, I don't know what the fuck you two are talking about.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
All right, then Loki, let's get back to some news because I know this first one. You got to have something to say about this, Loki.
I think it's pretty awesome. I mean, they've had the rights sold already to Warner Brothers for Ready Player One for, God, I don't even know how long now. But they have a director, and I guess I could have picked just anybody. I mean, they got this guy named Steven Spielberg. I mean, like, what's he done? But he's going to be directing the movie, which hopefully will be coming out sooner than it actually takes place in 2044. But I am psyched for this movie when it comes out. I'm going to be psyched anyways. It's just a bunch of, it's just an orgy of 80s stuff. That's like, you have fucking mecha and shit fighting each other. And it's like, how is this not going to be awesome? Of course, my wife's like, just reciting things. She complains about the book all the time. Have you read the book yet?
I still have not read the book, but I'm glad to know there's a movie coming out, so I don't have to read. Maybe we'll see.
You should read the book. It's awesome. It's just garbage, but it's.
My partner has a Kindle that neither one of us ever used, so maybe I could get a digital. I don't even know where the fucking Kindle is, but
you have an iPad with a Kindle app.
You don't need a digital version. I have a hard version.
Wait, how am I supposed to use paper? A book? What am I going to do with that? Am I gonna hold down another book?
It's a quick read.
All right.
They played Joust in it at one point. I mean,
books are the things that Rob uses to hold up his monitor.
But I don't know. I'm very excited about it. It should hopefully turn out better than, say, I don't know, Pixels or something.
I am excited to see this, even though I don't always love Spielberg. I think some of his stuff is overrated. I think that's really cool that somebody of his caliber is attached to this. And I know it's considered one of his worst movies, but I will always stick up for Hook. I love that movie. I'm sorry. I love that movie as a kid. It was so good. Anyway, that's like considered one of his worst movies.
If that's his worst movie, then he can't do too bad. I mean, that's
true.
not bad. I mean, damn, you got a pretty entertaining movie as your worst movie. Okay, well, that's terrible of you, I guess.
All right. Well, anyhow, from movies to television, and you're really into Ready Player One. I really like this mobile phone game. Maybe this should be the thing. I will read Ready Player One when you sign up to play Ingress, which is a game that I've talked about on the show.
Dude, my phone would not run that if I even. Oh,
that's true.
I'm guessing it's a Samsung Galaxy S2. It hardly runs fucking web page.
Yeah, I think Alan had a 3 and it was pretty slow on that. So I don't know.
Sorry,
that's all right.
I can't do that yet.
Maybe
I
on the
can't
next
play anything on this.
Maybe the next phone. But anyway, Ingress apparently going to be coming to television. Now, of course, I've talked about this game on the show or before, but it gets you out and going around to places of public interest to capture. Imagine like if Foursquare met Capture the Flag. That's kind of what Ingress is you battle out in these factions to then capture these nodes and connect them to create control fields. And so that's what Ingress is all about. But of course, there's this whole, these YouTube and, viral alternate augmented reality game type of stuff that goes on behind it. There's an actual reporter that goes out to all these events. Some of the local folks I know that play here in Sacramento all went down to Pasadena this weekend for what they call an anomaly, which is just basically a big event where it actually drives the game's lore.
So
when
these events, when people go to it, is it just a bunch of people like on their phones going,
yes,
oh my God. It's like so stupid.
If you're walking,
so basically.
It happened in Sacramento, and it's thousands of people on the street all staring at their phones. It looks like some freaking flash mob hit where people can't be bothered
or just regular life with people glued to their phones. It's like no one actually understands. There's an anomaly going on? I was just playing on my phone.
Little did you know, they're all sitting there going, pew, 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 pew.
Yes, it doesn't make it any less stupid. No.
Oh, you're such an asshole. Anyway, now more people can learn about it because apparently...
At least they're not running around like pretending they're guns and stuff and going pew, 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 and hiding behind like, bushes and shit like that.
Anyway, Google Niantic apparently working with Sean
Do they
Daniel.
have costumes? Do you wear costumes to these events?
Well, because the factions are blue and green, people will wear blue and green, and like some people will like wear the green wigs. And,
so they're going to think it's like a big gang war going on.
Pretty much, yeah, somebody's going to think it's a gang war.
But careful.
But they're all staring at their phones.
Bloods be coming after you, man.
All right, shut up. Anyway. Google Niantic Labs, who create the game, working with Sean Daniel Company. This is the production company responsible for the Mummy film franchise and The Expanse, which is coming to Sci-Fi. Nothing pitched to networks yet. No showrunner attached. So this is still very early on in development. Some folks thinking that this might actually not be about Ingress, but Niantic working on a follow-up of sorts, which is also going to be taking place. So this could be that the TV agreement's actually for what's to come next. And what cracks me up is that, and I forget the name of it, maybe somebody in chat remembers it, but Niantic's working with author James Frey to create the book that will kind of be part of the lore. Well, if you don't recognize that name, do you know who James Frey was? He's the guy that got read to filth by Oprah because he lied on the show about his memoir. Remember that whole thing, the Million Broken Pieces or whatever it was called? He freaking lied, I guess, about the experiences or embellished a lot. And Oprah had him on the show. And like, you don't ever see Oprah get mad, but when she gets mad, heaven help you, right? So that was that guy. And I'm like, wow, he's back and he's going to write game lore.
Apparently he's good at fabrication.
You're right. Why not? The guy's good at lying and making stories up. Oh, Lord. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Dark Sakura.
Well, there is a UK charity event that went on. It was run by a group called Special Effect. They had a charity event called Game Blast that they managed to pull in over £120,000 in donations, and they surpassed last year's goal by £50,000. So they basically have just been pulling this in, trying to help poor kids that need the help. Their donation page is still up and active. The next Game Blast is going to be tentatively February 26th through 28, 2016. And you can go to their donation page at justgiving.com.
Awesome.
Yep.
We
like people doing nice stuff.
That's right. It's nice to hear about gamers doing good as opposed to, gang warfare created by video games.
Don't be a dick.
That's right. Moving on, Loki.
I don't know. I can't believe they're using that author, quote unquote, to make the storyline for this thing.
I can't remember the
Does he
name.
actually write anything? I mean, that he hasn't, plagiarized?
I will do what anyone would do in this situation, and I'm going to look it up on Wikipedia right now and try to find out what else that he's written since then. He has a young adult novel publishing company that was trying to basically create Twilight knockoffs, it sounds like.
Wow.
So there you go.
All right,
Endgame is the name of the game I was trying to think of. Endgame.
Endgame. Okay, anyways. So remember that cool rumor that we had that Netflix was going to be getting some Zelda series or something? Yeah, that's unfortunately not going to happen. Nintendo basically said, hey, that talk of the show is not based on correct information. There's nothing new to share. Sorry. No Zelda show.
Well, to be fair, and maybe a little tinfoil hat-ish, Nintendo could be lying. It wouldn't be the first time they've done it. Right? I mean, if they really...
You're opening me up to like so many jokes, but yes, I won't take those. I guess they could be lying, but it's kind of stupid. They're going to we're not going to talk about it. But then we're going to talk about it.
All right. Looking at our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, Tiger Claw wants to know, why did it take Nintendo this long to respond to it? You know, I'm getting this weird feeling that nobody asked. I mean, granted, they probably contacted the Nintendo PR department or whatever and got the whole line of, we don't comment on rumors or speculation. But this was the first time that, it was Iwata that put the kibosh on this, right? That somebody sat him down and asked him point blank, so what about this rumor? So I think that's part of the reason why it took this long to hear about it, is it took this long for somebody to ask him point blank in a situation where he couldn't necessarily PR speak his way out of it. So... well, we'll see. And SSJ 100 Matt says they're not going to talk about it until E3. Dungeon Buster says not correct isn't really a flat-out denial. So we'll see. Anyhow, moving on to Minecraft, which still gets a lot of press even to this day. And I find this story fascinating because what's happening with Minecraft, they're going to be giving it for free in every Northern Ireland secondary school. This is Culture Tech, which is a festival of technology and creative industries. They've gotten funding from the Department of Culture, Arts, and Leisure to supply 200 schools with download codes. Each license is for a version of the game called Minecraft EDU. I didn't even know this was a thing, but you can look it up at minecraftedu.com, and it's designed specifically for the classroom. So this is going to be distributed, thanks to this funding, across all of Northern Ireland. And I couldn't help but think about, when I'm reading about this, I'm like, geez, when I grew up, we were playing Oregon Trail and Number Munchers, and now kids today, they're playing Minecraft in school.
That'd be awesome.
That's kind of neat. I love that idea. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess Minecraft certainly teaches them design and it's art and, that all of that. But, it's not, I guess, as in your face as eat all the multiples of 3 or get eaten by a troggle. It's not quite as in your face as that. But I think that's pretty awesome. So who knew that Netflix was what the kids were playing in schools these days? I sure
Minecraft,
didn't.
You mean?
What'd I say?
Netflix.
Oh, Rob.
I was looking at another story. Minecraft. Well, one kid's got Minecraft open and the other kid behind him has Netflix open or something. That's what they do. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to go to our mailbag. Every week you guys send us emails to participate at orangeloungeradio.com, which is our email address. And Dark Sakura dives into the mailbag and finds some emails that she deems worthy of reading on Le Program. Dark Sakura, how many do we have in the mailbag tonight?
4.
4? There was only 1 when I looked in there earlier. Holy crap. 4 emails tonight. All right.
Yes. What's up, Orange Lounge? I'm sure you guys have noticed this trend. Indiana Jones was brought back. Pirates of the Caribbean is getting a 5th movie. The Marvel movies keep coming. The Hobbit was built from a book. Uncharted 4, a new Mass Effect, a new Gears of War, more Halo. Did big companies stop hiring good writers? Did people stop going to school for writing and instead we have too many CG animators? I'm confused. The entertainment industry, for mainly movies and games, has lately been flooded with prequels, sequels, and remakes. What happened to creativity? I'm going to stop and say there's nothing wrong with the new Mass Effect game, okay? I thought you guys might...
You need to watch your step. You need to watch it.
I thought you guys might enjoy this topic since lately so many of our AAA games are broken, a remake, or just another chapter in an already established IP. Where did originality go? Is indie all we have left for creative genius? All the best, EA Skeezy. For the record, I actually kind of see nothing wrong with having different stories that we've come to love expanded on. I don't want to see Mass Effect go away. I'd like to see more. I don't want it to end up, getting Lucasized, like Star Wars did.
Well, it's funny you make that reference because I would honestly say to the emailer, it's nothing really different from other forms of entertainment, specifically movies. Don't movies have the same problem? We just talked earlier in the show. They remade Arthur of all freaking movies.
I think that's what he was pointing out, though, when he mentioned all the Marvel movies and stuff.
I guess that's true.
Those are more sequelitis. And keep in mind, the Marvel movies are part of a larger story.
Right.
It's like, how many different issues of the comic books do we buy? If you really want to, see what's going on in the Marvel universe,
but they're making a Deadpool movie, and it looks awesome.
Did you see that costume picture?
Oh,
that was the best.
I love, and Dark Tetsuya pointed this, or somebody, no, it wasn't Dark Tetsuya. Sorry, I misattributed something to you. It was Seg, my buddy Seg, that did this on Twitter. Actually pointed out that Deadpool on Twitter only follows Hello Kitty, and that's it. And he's like, "How perfect is that?" That's amazing.
You know what though? If I bet anything, if I made a B. Arthur account, it'd get followed.
Here you go.
I might have to do that.
Here you go.
I'm gonna do R.I.P. B. Arthur.
But I do want to say, actually, I knew a podcaster around here called Spanking B. Arthur, so that's a thing. But anyway, let me point out the whole ideas and everything. I really think that we're seeing in games really nothing different from what you see in movies or even in books.
And I wouldn't even say indie's going to be a way to get around that because a lot of indie guys are making games that are spiritual successors to things. It's like, well, we can't license the rights to make a sequel to this game, but we're going to make one that's very similar to that. So I don't know, but there's original stuff, and who cares? Sometimes going back to like a franchise is pretty awesome. Like, look, they rebooted Tomb Raider for like the 8th time. So,
and
this time it was actually good.
I see a lot of indie games kind of saying like we're really inspired by Metroidvania, and I don't see that as a bad thing whatsoever. And I don't say, oh, this means the indies are running out of ideas. I think this just says, hey, the indies are taking something they love and putting their own spin on it. So,
wonder if we'll ever see a Metroid Cross Castlevania game.
I just want to see a game called Metroidvania.
That would be awesome.
Samus finds herself in a haunted castle from years ago. Anyway.
Yeah, if I was going to sit down and do an indie game, I would totally do something in the style of the Guardian Legend.
Awesome.
I need people to help me make this happen.
I'm telling you though, don't make the mistake I've made for this long. Flacco said you need to check out Velocity, and I finally did, and I was like, he was right. I do. So be sure to check that out. Anyway.
So next email.
Yes.
Greetings, OLR. It's your friendly neighborhood turtle, Serious Turtle. Rob, based on what you've been playing every week for some time now, I picked up Reaper of Souls on sale. I'm loving it, and I'm definitely having a lonely turtle in need of friends.
Aww.
Does OLR or VOG have a clan or anything that I can join? I'd love to play with members of the show or VOG community. Nope. Right?
Then no,
Make
actually.
one.
Horde House has one. Okay. So I've got that. So if you want to join the Horde House, my other show, Horde House, if you want to join the Horde House Hotties, I forgot to do it after the show this week because I still need to post Horde House. I'm way behind. But on the forums, I'll post more information, including battle tags of who you can contact if you want to join the Horde House Hotties. So we do have that.
And then he sends me condolences about Grandma. So thank you. Loki, finish your game already so I can play it. I'm looking forward to what you've come up with, and I hope you're smart enough to sell an amiibo for the game, especially separately, of course.
Of course, and it won't do anything like regular amiibos. So
stop it.
I'll say it like I do in every email. Your show gets me through my Mondays. Your loyal turtle in Philly, Serious Turtle.
Thank you. That means a lot that we can help you out with your Monday. Really appreciate that.
I'm pulling up the next one.
Sure.
Sorry, my voice is going out.
That's all right. Sorry, I was going to read some comments in chat to help do the time here. Bonds 006 saying, I want a new Never-Ending Story movie. Mm-hmm. Yep. Bobby Blackwolf says, I hear there's a Hobbit remake coming soon and then a Hunger Games remake. Oh, who knows? Probably just a matter of time. Blackwolf says, a Never-Ending Story remake with only females. You never know. SSJ 100 Matt says a Mean Girls remake with guys. Anyhow. Bonds 006 says still
Unless all the guys are gay.
That's actually on YouTube. It's Mean Gays. Look it up on YouTube.
Okay, but I'd rather it be called Bitchy Boys.
And Bonds 006 says still no Uniracers remake. Maybe that could be the game Nintendo announces to save the Wii U this holiday. Uniracers U.
Can I read the next email?
All right.
I don't think they're going to try to save
Hello,
the Wii U.
peoples. And then the article about the Final Fantasy 15 director saying about the all-male cast. At this point in the show, you probably covered the comments by Final Fantasy V director Hajime Tabata about making the cast in Final Fantasy 15 all male to make the game more approachable. Quotes. No, we haven't. I thought I would add in my thoughts because honestly, it's bullshit.
And funny enough, it's not on our show roll tonight, so here's our opportunity to bring it up.
Why couldn't he just say the decision to go the all-male cast was part of the plot? People who were aware that the Final Fantasy series of games are plot-driven would have bought that as an excuse, at least for a little while. Instead, people are either of two different conclusions about this move. One, this move is driven by a misinterpretation of the market for these games. Two, Square Enix has joined Spanky and Alfalfa in the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Stay care, Redtertainment trainer sent from my iPad. Which was in the email.
I know. I get. It's not so much the fact that the story is about four guys that bothers me because I've seen enough movies.
Isn't that Stand By Me?
Yeah, Stand By Me is about four guys, right? And that's just part of the story and the plot device. But at the same time, I do understand you have this separate conversation about diversity in games and da-da-da. And I get that. And y'all know I'm for that. But do you want to elaborate on your thoughts real quick here?
Well, with the who cares about diversity in games, I do.
Yeah, who cares about there being four guys in this game that are the leads in the game? This is what they decided that they want to do with it. That's it. If you don't like the game, don't play it. I understand why should there be fucking females and males in every single goddamn game. You can have all female cast. You can have all male cast. You can have a mix of both. You can have cats and dogs. Who gives a shit?
Here's what it boils down to. I'm fine with them wanting to do the game about four bros or whatever, and I'm sure there'll be supporting characters.
Grilling by a Cadillac.
But here's the thing, is that clearly the industry as a whole has an issue. And I think if Square Enix can show that they can address the bigger issue, then fine. They can make whatever these games are that they want to make. But the industry as a whole kind of has to answer for the other issue. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic.
This is literally like the only Final Fantasy game that they've had that has had all males as like the party in the game. Everything else has been like diversified, if you want to put it that way. I mean, we've had fucking Yetis in there and stuff, but who cares? That's what I'm saying. Who gives a shit? I mean, your rest of your games are all like that. If they want to make a game that has all guys in it, then fine. They had a game already that had a female lead, and she was the only playable character. I think that's fucking even enough. Why does it have to be like, oh, well, we don't like that? Well, too bad. You don't like it. Don't play it. I don't like sports games. I'm not saying stop making sports games. That's my thing. It's like, who gives a shit? It's their story that they want to tell. If they feel that it needs four male characters in the lead roles, then that's fine. Once again, because of our industry and because it's diversified, we have a lot of people out there creating games that have a bunch of different, mixes of groups, race, gender, sexual orientation, species in their games. I don't understand why we have to force other games to kind of go by that. I mean, it's not like Final Fantasy is all male, all your games.
For the record, we only have one confirmed asexual character in any game ever that actually is flesh and blood, just saying. Maya from Borderlands 2.
Oh. So I think we have to kind of, I don't think it's so much about the decision to put the four, again, there's plenty of movies out there that do it too, but it's about, can the games industry as a whole show that level of maturity that the movies industry had to show? I don't know. I think the problem is much larger than one game. And, to Loki's credit, Square Enix has brought us an amazing female protagonist in the form of Lara Croft. So, in the Square Enix games themselves, they tend to show a little bit of diversity.
Even Lightning, if you want to stick with Final Fantasy.
Sure. So, Anyway.
Or fuck, Final Fantasy 10-2 or whatever. There you go. All female cast right there. I don't understand what the problem is. Like they've done it both ways. I think that's pretty even. I really don't think that people have a say in. I guess you can say whatever you want, but I don't think they should do anything about it because I think they've fairly represented the whole gamut.
All right. Looking at our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Let's see. SSU100 Matt suggesting Sid is a brilliant inventor and mechanic, and they made the character as a woman in Final Fantasy 15. Fifth Dream in chat says, I'm saying stop making sports games. Brad from Pod Culture says, equal opportunity, a DOA game where you can adjust the junk jangle. All right. Anyhow.
I would play that. I just want a
too.
game called Junk Jangle.
Anyhow. Any more to the email, or are we good to move on?
We have another email.
Okay.
Jeez, Rob. Hello, LR. I have to be at work early tomorrow, so I wasn't able to join you all live tonight, but I need to say something. Who was it that recommended the mobile game King of Thieves? Was it Kaijudo? Well, there's something I need to say to that person. Are you happy with what you've done? I'm now a hopeless addict. My life is in tattered ruins, or maybe that's my dungeon. Anyway, thank you very much for ruining my life, you jerk. Now, excuse me while I steal someone's gems. The Stone League has only 24 hours left, and I'm 6,000 points behind. Exploding ferrets upon your family, Aaron YYR. P.S. You should at least give this game a look if you don't mind having your life ruined.
Yes, that was Kaishudo that recommended that game to me, and then he brought it up on the show, and then I brought it up on the show that yes, I checked it out, and yes, I had fun with it, and so there you go. So maybe in our little OL army, we all have our titles, right? I'm the president, Darkstalker's the overlord, Loki's the pope, Kaishudo can be the life ruiner. There you go, ruiner of lives. Is that it for emails tonight?
Yes.
That's
By the
it.
way, do you have any pizza left?
Yes, I do.
May I have a slice?
You may. It's terribly greasy, though.
I don't care. I'm sitting here with my stomach rumbling.
All right, go ahead.
Participate at very important updates. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com if you want to send us an email for next week or the week after or whenever you feel like you have something to say. Let's get to the FUs of the week. Every week on the show, are you okay? Are you gonna be okay over there, Dark Sakura? Oh my god, it's so salty. Okay, Dark Sakura is about ready to barf live in studio. That's awkward. But we're gonna do the FUs of the week right now.
Oh, this is bad. Here is justice. Here is punishment. This is fucked up.
Dark
Number
Sakura?
one, fuck this pizza. It's delicious and salty. You weren't kidding.
Yeah, I told you there could be possibly too much bacon on that pizza.
But it's pretty good, and I don't even care. I'm so hungry right now. I've had a pita today. So, also, FU to the guy driving the Corvette who decided it was a good idea to weave in and out of traffic on single-lane roads. Yeah, fuck you. And fuck you to my sinus infection.
Loki?
I guess FU to having to still tweak my game. I'm still making more levels and stuff for it, but like this other level I'm making that was supposed to be focused on kind of teaching you that you can jump in your car. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to break it yet, and it's kind of annoying. But I'll get
Invisible ceilings.
No, not invisible ceilings, but I need something else, like obstacles in the way or something. I just haven't figured out what. I may do beach whales or something. I don't know. It's just something ridiculous. I haven't quite gotten there yet.
Is that it?
Yeah, I just don't know what I'm going to do with that.
Oh god. I kind of have a lot I want to say in this FU segment, but like I don't really have the words for them right now, so I'm just going to say FU to complicated things that happen. I'm being vague for a reason, but there's just some complicated things that happened recently, and
Is it that thing?
I've been thinking about a lot. Yes, we talked about it briefly before the show tonight, and so you know why I'm kind of like I have a lot I want to say, and yet I don't want to say it. So
I will add in equal amounts of FU adage.
So I apologize for being vague, but at the same time, this is just like where I've fucking been at for like 48 hours. So F you to being vague. Sorry, that's all I got. All right. Let's move on with a couple more stories, and then we're going to get to the Skype line at 1-877-GAME-OLR, or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. Loki.
So this is kind of disappointing, but I guess it makes sense considering, the events that have transpired. But apparently, Gen Con is looking to relocate from their location in Indiana. They're basically saying that, more than a decade, Indianapolis has provided tremendous hospitality and accommodation to our attendees, culminating in an estimated economic impact of more than $50 million to the city. Gen Con and its attendees look forward to receiving the same warm Hoosier hospitality throughout the term of our contract. It says legislation that could allow for refusal of services or discrimination against our attendees will have a direct negative impact on the state's economy and will factor in our decision in making on hosting the convention in the state of Indiana in future years. So basically, because of SB 101, they're thinking of moving it.
I do want to say I have to jump in here with a follow-up because I was following this pretty closely because obviously, when I heard the news about what happened in Indiana, I was just like, what the fuck? Like I think many people were. Gen Con actually came out since that first came out and actually did reiterate that they're kind of stuck there for until 2020 because of contractual obligations. So they will actually not be relocating next year despite the threat. However, they really bent over backwards to say, the local businesses that we're going to work with here in Indianapolis are not signing up for that, and they're not going to discriminate. We want to welcome all our attendees. It leaves, I don't know. I'm very torn on this because I do feel like there's probably a lot of people in Indianapolis and Gen Con that want nothing to do with this fucking law. Like they want nothing to do with this back-asswardsy. Or excuse me, bullshittery, since I learned that word tonight. And what happened in Indiana is bullshittery. Let's be real. So I kind of understand from that perspective, but I also understand the need to take an iron fist and have an iron stance because the reality of the situation and delivering that message to the governor that this is not okay doesn't get delivered otherwise. But I think what's happening, not to get too political here on OLR, but obviously I have somewhat of an interest in this story here because the reality is I, with Alan, could one day decide, I don't know why we would do this, but we might decide we want to go to Gen Con. I do have friends that go to Gen Con and have a good time. We might go there to Indiana and somebody could legally choose to discriminate against me. And so I'm kind of like, that's fucking fucked. So, I mean, I appreciate that the organizers of Gen Con are making sure that's not going to happen, any business near them or any of that stuff, but obviously a lot of stuff is happening with other companies. Like, I got to give massive props to, like, Salesforce and what is that, Angie's List? Is that what that site's called?
Angie's List.
Who have come out big time to, like, say, not okay, and we're not going to do business in a state.
And the guy acts so confused. Well, why is everybody being mean to me?
Right? So
because you're a shit?
I would hope that the people of Indiana who do not believe in this bullshittery, and I know there's decent people in Indiana. I know some of y'all listen to this show. Hi. I act against this. It blows my mind. Here in the state of California in 2003, we recalled our governor over rolling blackouts and power issues. But the governor of Indiana is going to be allowed to stay after this.
Did you see what the mayor of San Francisco is doing?
Oh, they stopped all travel to Indiana. Yeah, it's just
officially sanctioned travel, and I was reading about other places refusing to do trade business.
Mm-hmm. It blows my mind, people. It blows my mind. Anyway, so I'm a little sad to hear that Gen Con couldn't put its iron fist down, but I'm also trying to be fair and realize that a lot of these businesses in Indianapolis probably want nothing to do with this fucking law, and they're probably pissed about it. So again, to sum it up, my voice is, if you're pissed about it, you need to let your lawmakers know. Don't be passive about this shit, because there's other people that aren't going to react so passively. Just saying. All right. let's see, and Brad from Pod Culture saying, I'm from Indiana, and I'm kind of ashamed of that fact right now. Watch what you say. That statement got the Dixie Chicks in a whole lot of trouble.
My friend Susan.
Yeah.
Schmoozin' Susan.
Yeah.
She's from Indiana.
Yeah, no, and like
she pretty much said the same thing.
I think there are tons of awesome people from Indiana, of which these are two people I would put near the top of the list. But
I will come out and say that when the Alabama Supreme Court was pulling the bullshit, I was really ashamed to be from there. And I'm going to say it on radio. I love where I'm from. I am super disappointed in my home state.
I think, because you all know I volunteered for the No on 8 campaign when that whole thing went down.
So did I.
And yeah, no, I know. But when it ended up passing, I don't know if I would say I was ashamed, but I was just embarrassed. I'm still embarrassed that there's like that black mark. I mean, I realized it all got fixed up since then, but I'm still kind of like, that was just embarrassing. But, even in that short time, so I have actually talked to people one-on-one that said, I voted yes on 8 and I was wrong. I've changed my mind. I've thought differently. And so you have to kind of look at that and go, okay, progress. We're making progress. It's happening.
I've talked to people who voted on it and said they would vote on it again. And I was like, why am I talking to you?
Yeah, that would be my reaction. Bye, Felicia.
And the thing is that I really, I'm so disgusted with it. I'm literally disgusted to think that there are still people in this world who think that having that kind of attitude is right.
Yeah, I just want, if you didn't know, if you didn't catch on to it already, I'm a gay guy who's here doing the show, and I live with my partner, and we're in a relationship, and we've been a long term 5 years, and we're pretty decent people, and I'm not really looking to corrupt people, or I don't have a
so
fucking
we can let
agenda.
The children in the basement out.
My agenda is to make sure the cat gets fed, go to work every day so I can, afford to have a place for me and my partner to live. It's just, I like to play video games too, like a lot of you do. We're not fucking like crazy people. Crazy people are in all sorts of, sure, there's gay crazy people out there. There's a lot of straight crazy people too. There's a lot of white crazy people, a lot of black crazy people. There are crazy people everywhere.
As I told my mother, don't judge the entire LGBTQA, etc. community based on the parades. It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I was going to say is that I grew up Southern Baptist. Mm-hmm. The attitudes that have formed this had a hand in my raising. Mm-hmm. And I will say this, if y'all want to know what the hell the commandment is, it's 1, love God. 2, love your neighbor. That's it. There's nothing on there. There's no except in that part of scripture at all. Yeah. So the moment I hear this shit, I say, where does it say that in scripture? You point it out to me.
Yeah. No, I got to watch how far down the political religious route we go, because we are a video game show. But at the same time, these are issues that like fucking impact me. Yeah. This is my life. When people are saying that, there might be a business or a restaurant that you might go into that doesn't serve you because, of some course, agenda they made up.
Free speech also gives people the right to picket that place.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's end on some positivity and charity and good things. And we're going to talk about a guy who you may not have knew was gay.
And from my hometown.
And just happens to be a gay guy running like the biggest funking get down in funk, the biggest funky company in the world, Apple. Apple CEO Tim Cook has mentioned that he's going to donate his fortune to charity, and that he's been quietly donating to causes for quite some time now. He looks forward to when he can actually just, engage in meaningful philanthropy on a greater scale later on in life. So imagining talking about retirement and those sorts of things. So, I mean, in some of these other interviews and so forth, he said that he has enough set aside for like the nephew to get his nephew through college and all this stuff, but the vast majority of his fortune he plans to turn around and donate to charity. Now, I'm not saying everybody out there has to donate all of their money to charity. And what does this have to do with gaming? Well, Apple's getting a bigger and bigger presence. 30% of whatever you buy on iTunes goes to Apple, and some of that money goes to Tim Cook. So, it's nice to know at least that some people want to turn it around and put that money back into their community in one way or another. But at the same time, if Tim Cook had come out and said, I want to make sure that all my relatives are being provided for and so forth, I would have been cool with that too. But I think it's really cool when you can say, I'm going to provide for this person, but to a point, and then they're going to have to go out and make their own riches.
There's a difference between providing and enabling.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
And it just makes me super, super happy because he's from my hometown.
Yeah. So, all right, there you go. So good to know that some of that money you're putting into iTunes today might go around and end up in charitable things in the future. But to be fair and, to make sure everybody gets their praises, obviously Bill Gates, Microsoft. Bill Gates may not be as intimately involved with Microsoft as he once was, but certainly super charitable guy himself. Does a lot of great things and brings awareness to that stuff. So there's a lot of awesome charitable people in the tech industry, and we should tip our hat to him. All right, we're going to get to the phone lines right now. 1-877-GAME-OLR, and your username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. If you want to give us a call, we're going to get to some calls here live on the show, and then I'll also check in with Loki and see if he has any last-minute topics. Let's go to the phones, however, right now, because I think we have the phones lighting up. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hi, this is Raginator.
Hey, Raginator. How you doing?
Waginator.
How about yourself?
Good. Waginator, as you were calling yourself earlier in the show. With a new haircut. I see it looks like you buzzed your hair there. How you doing?
Yeah, I was in dire need of a haircut, so I can't figure what the hell. Get as short as possible.
Looks good, my friend. How you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
A couple things to note. I don't know if you personally have noticed or not. I would imagine you've been kind of busy and whatnot, but right now, if you look on Steam, there's this weekend there's a sale on all of Sega's titles. If I remember right, let me bring it up.
I did see the sale itself on Steam. I did log into Steam this weekend because I looked at it and I went, "Ooh, Sega stuff's on sale. I need to make sure I have everything I want." And sure enough, things like Space Channel 5, I have them in my library. I just haven't played them since I bought them. And that's how I brought Deep Shame.
Club. Oh God, not to sound like I'm bragging on, that's not my intention, but I got a shit ton of games myself, and I only played a handful of them, and of all my games, I haven't beaten a single one yet. But anyway, getting back to my point, I kind of figured, this would probably be something that Sky would be interested in. I already know that Doc Sakura noticed because I seen she bought some stuff, but anyway, there was a second point to my call, but I'm trying to go get brain fart and trying to forget what I was going to mention. Sorry, brain fart. Well, since I'm brain farting on my second point, I'm gonna mix something up on the fly. Since Sega's put a lot of the Sega Genesis stuff on Steam, is there any older console games that you would love to see on Steam, or there's also some not just console games, but arcade games. I seen Ikaruga on there. There was an arcade game, and of course there's the Pac-Man games, so on and so forth. Are there any older arcade games as well that you would like to see on Steam?
That's a really good question. What kind of old arcade or old console games would you like to see on Steam? I think things that I remember from my youth with a strong co-op angle from it. Things come to mind like the Ninja Turtles game and the Simpsons arcade game, but I thought the Simpsons arcade game was on, I don't know if it's on Steam, but I thought that was something they put on PC when they ported to all the other consoles sometime ago.
It was on PC a long time ago, too,
Yeah.
because I had an old floppy version of it.
Oh, God, that's right. There was the whole, you could play on EGA and CGA and all. Oh, my God, that's
I don't know
right.
if it's CGA, but yeah, it was
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
the version.
That's right. That's old school. But I mean, I think about like arcade experiences like that, and those are the types of things that I would like to see on Steam. Is the Grid on Steam? Because I know we used to play a lot of that at Golfland. Maybe I don't know if this is old school, but maybe like Initial D. I don't know. You guys have any answers for this? What kind of like old school, either arcade or PC?
The Grid's probably emulated through MAME now.
I guess that's true.
I don't know how well it would
I wish
work.
Planet Harrier actually worked.
Uh-huh.
I haven't been able to get it to work yet.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Some of our answers here. What about you, buddy?
Oh, there's so many lists. It's hard to give a short, concise answer. Just off the top of my head, maybe some old, virtually, the entire back catalog of Konami, arcade games, and Namco games like Galaga, the 1989 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, like you mentioned, the Simpsons game, so on and so forth. There's so many games, it's hard to give a short answer. I mean, I can go on all night and rattling them off as they occur to me. So, I love retro stuff, and when Game Room was out for Xbox 360 and
God, you're going to taunt me with memories of this again, aren't you? You're going to taunt me with all the things the Game Room could have and should have been until the plug was prematurely pulled. Are we really going to do this again? You're right, though.
Not to quickly switch tracks before I forget again. If you recall, just at the end of Bobby's show, when he was taking calls, I called in and I mentioned the arcade stick that I had recently bought, and I was seriously thinking of doing a review for the site, because to the best of my knowledge, I hardly ever see hardware reviewed for the sites unless I'm overlooking something.
No, why not?
Now, Bobby mentioned emailing a review. Which email address do I send the review to? Do I send it to participate at OLR or
no? Send it to me directly at VOG Network, rob@vognetwork.com, and I'll look it over. And if I have any feedback, I'll let you know. And we're always looking for more people that want to contribute to VOG Network. I have to be very careful sometimes. It's a slippery slope. I don't want to go out and quote unquote recruit writers, because we're an all-volunteer organization, and I realize there's writers out there that do great work and deserve to get paid for that work. But the reality is, we're pretty much, I don't get paid for this podcast. We actually pay out of pocket to do the site. So as it is right now, we're pretty much an all-volunteer, group. But if somebody wants to contribute something, I've got a platform to run that contribution on. Let's do it. So this is why I don't like to tell people what to write about. I want to just say, hey, voice of geeks, lend me your voices. What do you want to say? And see what happens. So I think if I were to start bossing people around, then I'd have to pay them.
I definitely see your point. Honestly, I just felt like contributing something. Now, aside from the quote-unquote unofficial reviews I posted into the forums regarding the two recent Magic the Gathering games
and I think
came out for the past 2 years, I thought I would do something more official that will be on the main site rather than just the forums. So.
Well, send me an email, and that goes for anybody out there. Just not to make the show just about you, Ragenators. This goes about for everybody out there. If you're interested, send me an email. So I will look forward to reading your review soon. I actually didn't hear the very end of Bobby's show when you called in, because our guest had just showed up. So I will look for that when you email it. All right.
Sure. Yeah. In fact, I'll get started on writing the review. First thing tomorrow.
Sounds good. All right, my friend. I got to let you go so we can get more calls. Take care, my friend.
Good night.
Later. All right, 1877 Game OLR or a username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, but it's lighting up tonight. Hi on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this? Hello. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. So make sure you're talking into your microphone or you. Oh.
Whoa, Legend of Zaku here.
Hey, Zaku. How you doing, buddy?
Fine, as usual.
What's on your mind?
Oh, nothing much. The usual of trying to get through seeing you and Paxis a few weeks back.
I know. It was literally for like 2 seconds that I saw you.
Well, I mean, it was, we were at that party that Friday night.
Yeah. And I forget the name of it, 16-bit Boston or something like that. I know the gals from Electric Sisterhood were co-sponsoring it, but yeah, good times.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I haven't been, well, let's just say aside from like whoring out FSX for the past few weeks as usual, spending godly amounts of money on planes such as $60, almost $60 on a 747. But aside from that, like GTA 5's coming out on PC. And I guess, because obviously I'm probably going to get suckered into getting that one, I'm wondering whether or not it's like too late at this point because, I've had to like plunk down money for the PS3 version, and after a few months of beating the game, there was nothing really other than to try GTA Online, and then now it's whether or not I should, whether or not it's even worth getting back into it, even with the new heist patch and everything. I know it's kind of like because of the fact that I've already sailed that ship, and whether or not I should go back on board with the PC version because of the new graphics and the fact that I have a card that can actually handle it.
Is that tough to want to buy the same game multiple times? Because maybe I'm the wrong person to ask about that. Because can we talk about how many times I bought Mass Effect 3?
Yeah, and the fact of the matter that I haven't even bought that one yet. But I guess, whether or not that justifies, the fact that I bought a GTX 970 over the holidays.
Really? Isn't that the fancy one? Isn't that the fancy pants graphic card?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I had to pull together not just birthday and Christmas money to, soften the blow, and then I had to take out a little bit of extra savings just to make, just to get it through. But it's Micro Center, so that purchase is not gone in vain. Because at least, with the 2-year warranty, I could just hand it in, no questions asked, and get store credit for it for another card.
Let me ask you about this because I don't think we've had you on the show since this news kind of broke. And I want to say you were actually the first person to kind of tell me this was going on, and then I started to get messages from everywhere. But this is, of course, I'm going to ask you because I know you're a longtime supporter of Konami and music games and so forth. I want to ask you about the whole shutdown and the EMU's global. As a Bomani fan, what do you think about where all this is going?
Probably nowhere, just because of that company's disappointment. I mean, let's be honest here. The only time they've really have taken risks was back in the days when this whole, when music games were really starting to take off. Like, if it wasn't for them, like, taking the risk of bringing DDR worldwide, then yeah, I would have stayed in Japan. But then once they take the risk, then they become too comfortable with their stand, with their position. And once they feel threatened as a result of competing forces, like for Pump It Up and back in the day with ITG, they resort to using the courts in order to seek remedies for that. And
that is I gotta say, that's a really succinct and good way of kind of summing it all up. And I think I think it's similar to something I've definitely said on the show before, is that they were too afraid to take risks. And then when other people took the risks and it paid off, they were like, how did we get left in the dust? Shouldn't this have been our idea? Was it our idea? Do we have a patent?
So it's not even like them being completely, risk takers in that sense. It's more them being risk adverse and being reactive instead of being proactive. Supernova was a reaction to ITG, and then everything else, like, and then further iterations of DDR were essentially were reactions to Pump It Up, like early on. But I'm not holding my breath just because, as I said, even with the shakeup in leadership of that company, a lot of sources, from what I'm hearing, are still very wary of bringing EMU stateside, short of like round one taking care of that. And that really is yet to be seen whether or not round one has a viable chance expanding. I mean, sure, they're definitely hitting up the East Coast right now. They're trying, from what I've seen on their site, they're trying to build one near Massachusetts. But as I said, this whole arcade scene.
We have some here on the West as well.
Honest,
don't leave us out.
It's kind of like it's dying. And this is what Kyle Ward alluded to when I was talking to him at PAX East. He pretty much said that the front right now is pretty much mobile. Getting Re-Rave to mobile was probably one of the initial goals aside from the arcade version. But even the new game that he had out, the one that where you have to follow the actual notes for each measure.
I believe it's called Ditto Beat.
Yeah, something like that. And he basically targeted mobile first because that's the one with the lowest amount of overhead and risk.
Sure.
Anybody, just about any couple of devs, a small dev team could easily turn out a mobile app.
Yeah, you're still taking a risk with time, but as far as the financial risk,
But the fiscal overhead is so low that you definitely don't need massive, you don't need multi-million-dollar budgets to pull it off. You can do it with a simple bank loan or a small Kickstarter.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you don't pay yourself, but you wait until you actually turn a profit.
Right.
In order to ensure it. But yeah, it's unfortunate. We kind of knew this was going to happen. I remember talking to the guy who actually ran Program World back, like many Otakons ago, almost 4 years ago, and he pretty much said that the day when he gets a C and D from them is the day that they start winding down, because he kind of knew that once round one started expanding here, that there was only a matter of time before they would find out.
Yeah. All right. Well, my friend, I got to let you go so we can try to squeeze in one more call. But thanks for the call, for lending your voice. All right.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Night.
All right. 1-877-GAME-OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, if you'd like to give us a call. We'll probably try to squeeze in one more call here, but otherwise then I'll have to say drop us an email at participate@orangeloungeradio.com or a Twitter at a twatter, twitter.com/OLR.
Twat.
Loki, any last minute stories?
Yeah, they announced that Halo 5 is coming out October 27th.
Oh, wow. Was that just announced?
Yeah.
I somehow missed that. All right. Well, there you go. Now we know. We do have one more call here. Let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hey, it's a tired and exhausted Ranma.
Why are you tired and exhausted? Was there a con this weekend?
Yeah, that, and I was stuck in Jersey for 30 minutes more than I should have been.
Oh, you poor thing. I wish our guest Gabriel from Jersey was still here to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, what con did you go to this week?
Zenkai Con. It's out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's a nice hybrid of anime, fantasy, sci-fi, and all that cool stuff.
Isn't Lancaster like right in the heart of Dutch country? Or no, sorry, Amish Dutch country?
Yeah, you passed the giant Dutch Wonderland going to the convention center.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So you were out there with the Amish in your cosplays.
Well, no, actually, I saw them when we were in Walmart picking up stuff for the room, but,
Now, did somebody actually cosplay as the Amish to go to the con?
Nope, not to my knowledge.
Why?
Nope.
God, people, do I have to do all the thinking for you? And I'm just kidding. All right, all those silliness aside, how was the con?
It was fun overall, despite, the issues I had to deal with in the room, But other than that, made some great friends, had some good times. One thing I love about this con, it's like a cool down convention for me. In between all the cons that I go to, this one I can just go and relax and have a good time.
Nice. Good. Even though you're still worn out. But I know how that goes. You need a vacation from the vacation. I know exactly how that goes. Even when I got home from Boston, I was like, I need another week off work to recover.
I know, right? But I didn't call in to talk about the con. There's a couple of things I wanted to cover real quick, then get the heck up and out of here.
Go for it.
Now, your guest I was on earlier, I was listening on the way in. He was talking about the conventions and how they close early. If I was able to call in right then and there, I would have called in. Because here's the thing. Conventions if they're the conventions in a hotel, they will go all night long. Video rooms will either go to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning or all night. The reason why some cons shut down at 2:30 because they're in a convention center, and union contract says at 2 or 2:30, the convention center closes down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
That's usually a hotel versus convention center thing, right? Because even Dragon Con, like the quote-unquote convention center, which I guess is America Mart or whatever, is kind of that. And that does close at like probably, 10 o'clock or something. But the hotels, go all night long. So I think, and if I'm not mistaken, MagFest is at a hotel. Dragon Con's at hotels, so if you have a convention that's at a hotel, it's more likely to go all day, all night. Whereas
that's why AX was a combination of the two.
And what probably he was thinking about, because I told him, we were making some difficult decisions at VOG, are we going to do PAX East next year? Are we going to do MagFest next year? And right now, we're pretty much at this point all in for MagFest 2016 and not doing PAX East. And I think that's probably where he was kind of noting, PAX, they have to shut down. To be fair, though, PAX is in a convention center, but, looking at that comparison, I don't know, PAX does not go all day, all night.
True. But then again, I do remember that one time I went to Fanime and I stayed up to like 3 o'clock in the morning just to see a video presentation I wanted to see. So
Well, who needs sleep at a convention? Says the 20-year-olds, and then the 30-year-olds are like me.
See, at that point, that's when I'm like, you know what? I'm calling it a night at 4 a.m. I'm only having like 5 people in the room because I like to stretch out, get my sleep on. Because the days of packing 8 to 9, 10 people to a room are long gone.
That's even my that's my thing. Is like I can't do that anymore. Like all those people in a hotel room. Like I'm like 2 people in the room. That's about it. Or I will say GamerX. It was me, Alan, and Jamie in the room, and that was plenty. 3 people. 3's a crowd. Okay, it was a good crowd, but that was it. So
cool.
And Dark Sakura, by the way, since you did have to sleep with 2 gay men. Did we push an agenda on you? I was just curious. Did we push our agenda on you?
Well,
no, because
not interested in cock or anything. So
nope. Rob, seriously, I've said this to people. If I ever had a problem with the gay agenda, I would not be able to do half the stuff I do at conventions. I'd probably be a hunted person. I would not be able to go to cons, do a lot of stuff, Because I look at this, I've hung out with gay people, I hang out with lesbians. It doesn't matter to me. They get party just as hard as straight people. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. I like people. I just like people. That's it.
If you're a dick, you're just a dick,
That's, all right. You said you had one other quick thing?
Yeah, I believe Bobby talked about this last PAX, and we talked about it on OLR. That multi-function game, Artemis, where you're doing the spaceship simulation.
Yeah.
I meant to say about this before, but ZenkaiCon had a full room dedicated to Artemis running the whole weekend.
Oh, nice. Did you check that out? Did you play it?
I didn't get just to play it, but I was able to get some pictures, but let's just say it was a bit of a wait to get in there to play, so I was like, I really couldn't wait around and to get a chance to play. So
Oh, I bet. Wow. Well, that sounds like fun. I got to check that out. It hasn't shown up at a con near me yet, but I'm hoping soon. All right.
Well, I'll keep an eye out.
Sounds good. Ram, I got to let you go so we can wrap up the show. All right.
No problem, bro.
All right. Take care, my friend.
You too.
All right. Bye. Well, that is about going to do it for another episode of OLR. Let me check in with Loki real quick for one other chance for last minute stories here.
Nope, that's it.
All right, if you have
those screenshots from Grand Theft Auto on the PC version, like awesome.
Yeah, I know.
My PC can't run it.
Dope. You have to convince.
I'll just have to live it on, or just play it on 1 or 4 systems. I don't know.
There you go. All right. Well, if you have something you want to say about tonight's show or any other show or something in general you want us to bring up, like, we had a topic in the mailbag tonight that wasn't on the agenda, just, for whatever stories get slotted, you can always email us, participate@orangeloungeradio.com. I do try to read the tweets throughout the week. I know I've been really bad about addressing those on the show, but I do read all the tweets. So, you can always get my attention at OLR on Twitter or my personal Twitter as well, at SKIE. Anyhow, that is the end of another episode of Orange Lounge Radio. We're running pretty long tonight, but what a great show. I want to thank once again our friends from the Sacramento IGDA for joining us in studio tonight, Gabriel and Briana. Be sure to check us out on April 11th when we're broadcasting live, and check out Gabriel's company, the Crumple, the demo, which is available right now on Desura, and soon trademark. I mean, not like next month soon, but soon in the future on the Wii U as well. So check that out. As I say at the end of every episode of Orange Lounge Radio, we're not some mega, huge, multi-million-dollar company or website. We're just a bunch of people doing this for fun because we like to do this for y'all. We like to hang out with each other and talk to each other. We like to hang out with you guys who show up for it every Sunday night. So, if you liked what you heard here at Orange Lounge Radio, I'm not going to ask for your money. I just ask, spread the word. Tell a friend or two about the show and help spread the word here about where every gamer has a voice. Because if we don't know your voice is out there, we can't put them out there. I mean, how long did it take for me to meet this guy 5 blocks from my house that was making games? Anyway, but spread the word, and we can show up and get more indie developers and more game enthusiasts and everybody here on the show. So help spread the word. And if for whatever reason you can't think, you can't think of 5 people to tell, or you can't even think of one person to tell off the top of your head, it would be great to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher Radio. Those reviews go a long way, and we really appreciate that type of visibility as well. For now, it's time to go around and get everybody's final thought for the night. Dark Soccer, I see you're packing up and getting ready to go. Dark Soccer, your final thought tonight.
Tired of my nose.
Feel better. Loki, your final thought tonight.
I'm just tired, but have another game concept that my wife really wants me to work on. I'm not doing it yet until I finish what I'm working on now. But
you'll never hear the end of it if you start another one. All right.
I'm not going to.
Fair enough. And my final thought for the day is I almost bought a 60-inch television today, and I was just about to walk out the door at Sears until they told me, oh, gee, that TV that's on display, we actually don't have any in stock at any store nearby, nor can we do delivery when you do it online.
And they wouldn't sell you the display model?
And that is how Amazon got my purchase on a television that would have gone to Sears otherwise today. So just some food for thought. Just saying. Anyway, but there's a 60-inch TV in my future. Yes. Finally, I've been using that other TV way too long, so excited about that. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next week here on Orange Lounge Radio to do it all over again. Thank you, everybody, for listening, whether it be live or on the podcast feed. Thank you for sitting down at the table with us tonight. Have a great week.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into VogNetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or VOG Network, but they were all still true. See you next week.